Hey, what's up? Bum bum bum. Okay. So, we're back at it with more Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Hey, Blue Braid. We're gonna see if we can solve this case. If I recall correctly, what do I think? I think I need to remember what we're doing. Okay. It's going terribly. No matter how much I press her, I'm not turning up any new info. As I suspected, she's a tough witness. We need to find a way to break her testimony, or the cross-examination will be over. But that would mean I have to find a way. There must be some clue somewhere to help us find a chink in her armor. Kazuma. What, Ryunosuke? There is one thing I noticed. Something that's been bothering me. Bothering you? You mean about Miss Brett? Actually, no. About the person standing next to her. Inspector Hosanaga. The detective? He seemed to react a little strangely to Miss Brett's last statement. I was wondering if it might be significant. If it might present an opening, maybe. Alright, I have an idea. Try pressing her on that last statement one more time. If you think so. But this time, instead of targeting the woman herself, let's see what we can get out of the detective. Alright then. I wonder what Kazuma was thinking. I'll find out soon enough, I suppose. Once I press Miss Brett on her last statement again. Unfortunately, I have no idea when the poor man burnt his wrist like that. When the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised our glasses in a toast. As far as I've heard, the post-mortem report showed no other possible causes of death besides the gunshot. If there's some other way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please do show me. But of course, this country's inferior investigative techniques probably wouldn't pick up on it anyways.
Yes!
Inferior? What do you mean by that? In the lands of the Great British Empire, the police store everything found at a crime scene for a later examination. But this country investigate once and that's the end of it. Quite right.
Wait.
Which means that even if the investigation takes a different direction, well, vital evidence may be lost. Yes, there it is again. The detective's reaction is just the same as before. Why? Up until now, the detective has been in the stand with Miss Brett as her interpreter. But things are very different now. This testimony, the detective is just listening to what the English woman has to say. This could be a golden opportunity. What do you mean? When people are actually testifying, they're usually very careful not to let anything slip. However, when they're listening to someone else speak, you'll find they often let their guard down. It's time to pursue the man and his train of thought. Pursue? I'll explain how to do it now, Ryunosuke. It's all to do with the witness marker. What marker? At the moment, we're focused on Miss Brett, who's the person actually making the current statement. Well, by moving the marker left and right with left and right, you can turn your attention to other people on the stand. Oh, cool! By looking at the other witnesses, you'll be able to pursue them with A. If you can catch the person just the right time, you might uncover some new information to pursue. If you ever notice a strange atmosphere amongst the people in the stand, take a good look around. So first I should move the marker across with left and right, then focus on the detective. Then pursue him with A and see what's on his mind. Here we go. Which means that even if the investigation takes a different direction, vital evidence may be lost.
Excuse me.
Excuse me! What's the meaning of this? I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to shock you. He really was lost in his thoughts, deeply. It looked like you were thinking something just now, Inspector. Perhaps having heard what the lady next to you had to say? If there's something you'd like to say, please, share it with the court. What is the meaning of this? It's a delightful Englishwoman who's testifying at the moment. If you can't find fault with her testimony, then the cross-examination should be over immediately. Oh, is that how it works? Absolutely not. Hmm? The detective is in the stand, which makes him a valid witness. Yeah, look at Ryunosuke starting to hit the table the way that Kazuma does. Trying to mimic the much cooler a lawyer. Do you have something to add in relation to the statement just made by Miss Brett? Yes, if you don't mind, I would like to speak. The lady is right. Our country's police practices are not as modern as those used in Great Britain, which is why I, Satoru Hosonaga, always strive to make every investigation I'm involved in flawless. What do you really mean by that? I'll tell you what I mean. I won't have evidence lacking on my watch. I'm not afraid to take everything I can from the scene of the crime. It's preserving evidence, you see. I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief. I'm not ashamed of what I've done. A crime scene thief? Looks like the lady's remarks touched a nerve there. Take this, for example. This is the bottle of carbonated water that I took to the victim's table on the day in question. And yes, it's lost all of its fizz, having been opened 3 days ago now. But it was carbonated water. I don't care what anyone says. Something left in the bottle. I can see it. One day our police force will be among the best in the world. The time is coming. I guarantee it. You need to get that checked out, friend. I can't say I condone the witness's actions, but I do understand the sentiment. The court will accept the glass bottle of water as evidence. The carbonated water bottle has been entered into the court record. Ah, so you poisoned him. Miss Brett, can you confirm this is indeed the bottle from which you drank on the day of the victim's death? Yes, it was that bottle. What was that about? She seemed to avert her eyes when she answered. Very well. Counsel, you may resume the cross-examination. And the inspector will kindly control his fervor. Okay. Well, hold on. Let's go in here. Let's check this out. The label is written in a foreign language that I don't recognize. Do you know what it says, Kazuma? I think it's French. This must be very expensive water. But what does it say? That's what I was asking. Go to France and ask. You could just say that you don't know. Carbonated water is the last drink Dr. Wilson ever had. Looks like there's a little left in the bottle, although it's just plain water now. I've been sweating so much, I'm absolutely parched. I'll just have a sip of this to keep me going. No, Ryunosuke, you can't do that. For one thing, that's evidence. You can't go drinking evidence. Oh, you're right. We don't know what might be inside, do we? You never cease to amaze me, Ryunosuke, in more ways than one. I wonder, could there be anything in this water? What's the matter? You've gone quiet all of a sudden. I think I just worked out something out. An interesting possibility. Ooh.
Yes!
You poisoned him! What's this? The bottle of water? Oh, wrong button. Actually, there's one method of killing a man without leaving a trace that comes to mind. Obviously, I'm referring to poison. Hey, we called it! Poison. On the day of his death, we know that Dr. Wilson drank from the bottle of carbonated water. Could it be that there was poison inside? Could it be that the professor actually died after taking a sip from his glass? Order, order, order! Order in the court! And on that day, who was sitting at the same table as the professor and able to slip the poison into his drink? There's only one person who could possibly have done it. Giselle Brett, it was you!
Objection!
This is outrageous to suggest such a thing. You little rookie imbecile, have you ever considered the delicate situation our country finds itself in now? Have you forgotten that we have only just signed an accord of friendship with the British Empire? Have you even the vaguest inkling that your rash accusations could jeopardize the entire treaty? This is not a political arena. This is a trial to determine one individual's guilt with respect to one crime. What? The fact that this woman is British makes no difference. We are here to determine the truth. If I may. I will silence you forever for this disgraceful attack on the lovely... Oh! Yes! It's happening! It is you who should be silent. Of course. Where did that come from? She just snapped. Oh, I love... Are we getting the facade to drop? I'm afraid I may have spoken unfairly before. Oh, no. She reined it back in. I offer my most humble apologies. To what are you referring? I described your police force as inferior. But no matter how inferior they may be, you still investigated this particular point thoroughly, I believe. The bottle, I mean, Inspector. And whether it contained poison or not? Of course. You did? Have you forgotten what my guiding principle is already? To be thorough. I strive for a flawless investigation every time. I need to learn to push my glasses up like that to, like, punctuate points. Naturally, we tested inside the bottle and its contents. And what did you find, Inspector? I ordered a test for every toxin that's available in this country at the present time. We could find no trace of poison of any description in the bottle. What? Are you sure? Uh-oh. Cosmo's sweating. The tests were meticulously carried out by the chief coroner himself. No! Oh, I guess we didn't call it. Wow. I thought it was poison. You've successfully established my complete innocence in this horrid affair. Thank you. But of course, dear lady, the pleasure was all ours. I was so sure. Yeah, me too, Ryunosuke. This can't be right. Everything falls into place if he was poisoned. Thank you, counsel. Imagine the Ace Attorney case being so simple as poison. Yeah, I think I keep expecting the first one to be really basic because it's the first one. And, like, I think they're just gonna start me off on a wild ride from the beginning, aren't they? You know, I was thinking, like, hey, the first one, you know, you think it's a gunshot wound, it's really poison, everyone's shocked, and then you move on, and then, like, it really gets going. But no, they're just gonna take the wheel and yank at you immediately. It doesn't pull its punches at any point. Yeah, which is pretty cool. So then what the hell happened then? Because, like, I started thinking it was poison when she took the glass. Right? Oh! The water wasn't poisoned. The glass was poisoned. Like, not with, like, a liquid, but, like, you know what I mean. Like, the poison was put into his glass once it was already poured, and that's why she took the glass. And then naturally, there's no poison in the bottle itself because it came after. Okay, we can still be on Team Poison. Yeah, we can still be on Team Poison. This would still be a toxic stream. As prosecution have asserted, a shot to the chest from this gun is the only conceivable cause of death. Furthermore, the accused, who by his own admission was holding this weapon, is the only possible culprit. I'm done for. The court wishes to apologize for the great inconvenience this has caused you, Miss Brett. Oh no, I'm just glad the matter is resolved. Before proceeding, I must ask counsel for the defense. Do you have any further new evidence to present the court at this point? Do I? Kazuma? Help? I'm sorry, Ryunosuke. I have nothing more. Well, if you'll excuse me now, I really must be leaving.
Hold it!
I don't know who that is. Oh, okay. Obviously, we don't know. I feel much better that it's like question mark, question mark, question mark. So I was like, did I already forget who someone was? Please wait. Isn't that... What is the meaning of this? Forgive me for intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Susato Mikotoba, Judicial Assistant to the Defense. Oh, you're my... Wait, are you... No. Uh-oh. This does not bode well for Kazuma. If this plays out the same as like the first Ace Attorney, this does not bode well for our good friend Kazuma. Because Elder Faye helped us out in the first one, and it did not end well for her. Or in the tutorial or whatever, if my memory serves correctly. Mikotoba. In my darkest hour, with nowhere left to go, she appeared like a bolt of lightning. And in her hand, she carried a small package, wrapped in a furoshiki cloth. This music is so good, by the way. To be continued! We're not even at the end of the case yet? Oh my gosh. Okay, alright. 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 I did think I was done. I really thought it was gonna be like, oh, poison, the end, congratulations. Nope. This case is not done with me. You fool! You absolute buffoon! Thinking that you were done. A third part. Well, I understand you are the judicial assistant to the defense, but why the sudden ingress into my courtroom? Ah, a judicial assistant? And a woman, no? The rules state that females are not permitted into this court of law other than to testify. Okay. I fully understand. I asked only for 5 minutes of time. I have some vital evidence that I must hand over to the defense. You're too late, little girl. This trial has already been concluded. It has not been concluded because the verdict has not been read. Oh, totally sidetrack that like my brain jumped to. Because like I said the word verdict and then I remembered this. I was talking yesterday with someone about like how rough the daylight savings has been on me. Like my sleep schedule is just like ruined and I'm like not getting a ton of sleep and I'm really tired like all week. And they informed me that they had seen a study that had come out recently saying that and it looked at sentences from like courtrooms, and sentences were like significantly harsher in the week after daylight savings compared to normal, like across the board. over like a large sample size of like over a decade. And I was like, that really sucks. That's awful. Judge gets a little like less sleep because of daylight savings time. It's a little cranky. Sentences get a little harsher. So that's your depressing news of the evening. Thank you for tuning in. I would not allow a moment more, but Your Excellency, I am most grateful. Who exactly are you? I'm sorry, there's no time. Please, simply accept this for now. No, but who are you? Also, I really like their outfit. It's a good color. What is it? A report about something? Oh, I understand that she's Sasato. I'm just wondering, like, since when did I have an assistant? A report about something written in English. It's Giselle Brett's research. The Englishwoman's? After the trial resumed earlier, I hurried back to the university. I went to Dr. Wilson's laboratory in the medical facility and borrowed this paper. Oh yes, that's right. Miss Brett was studying under the professor, wasn't she? So does this research, whatever it is, have something to do with the case? Oh yeah, Cosma has an assistant. Okay. That makes more sense. I'm afraid I don't know. I haven't been able to listen to the proceedings of the trial myself. Special characteristics of Curare and its effects on human subjects. Curare? What's that? I've never heard that word before. Curare? Oh, okay. That works a lot easier. That makes sense. There was too little time for me to read it in detail, but I've summarized what I could on a note just inside the cover. If you think it could be valuable, please cast your eye over it. It's a poison from South American poison frogs. Oh, is that like a real thing? Oh, neat. Are those like the really vibrantly bright frogs? Because I vaguely recall seeing some nature shows sometimes that basically explained like the brighter and more like colorful, you know, certain types of animals are, like the more deadly they are. Yeah, okay. The report has been entered into the court record. An unknown poison that Miss Brett has been researching. Oh. Yeah, that makes sense. So I was kind of right. We're just going to take a long way around to it. A little more complicated than I imagined, but it's still poison. Nice prosecution of the defense now, one last time. Does you have any further evidence to present? I presume not, but let me look at this. Poison made from the bark of certain trees in the jungles of South America. The hunters of the region have used it since ancient times to incapacitate their prey. Instant paralysis of the entire body and subsequent death. The above-mentioned effects occur when the poison enters the body through a wound, such as that inflicted by a blowpipe dart. Due to its ability to render the human body paralytic, it's believed that the toxin could have application as an anesthetic. A solution for the respiratory arrest caused as a result of the full body paralysis must be found first, or patients would die of suffocation. Okay. The poison enters the body through a wound. ability to render the human body paralytic. Okay, so it sounds like... Okay. So the chain of events should be something to the effect of steak comes out, glasses filled, drink poison, instant paralysis, arm falls down, gets burned on the steak plate, and then dies. Yeah, okay, got it. The defense does have new evidence. Now look, the unyielding stare of a true Japanese warrior. Well, Miss Brett? Yes, Your Excellency? If you wouldn't mind, perhaps you could grace us with your presence a little longer. It's a delightful invitation, but I'm afraid it's not so very long until tea time. I'll have to politely decline. That wasn't a request, lady. Forgive me, Miss Brett. It seems I wasn't clear. I realized it was phrased as a question. However, oh, I love the judge. This judge is, like, superior to old judge in every way. This judge is incredible. It wasn't a request. I phrased it as a question, but, like, this was a direct command. It's called trying to be polite. Yeah. Big fan of judge. I must ask you to treat that as an order. I've said it many times before, but the Japanese language makes no sense. My apologies, dear lady. So, counsel, what is this new evidence that demands the court's attention? Present!
Yes!
Okay, hold on. Let me go over this one more time. Steak. Okay, no. Sit down for dinner. Steak arrive. Clink glasses. Drink poison. Instant paralysis. Arm falls. Arm burned. Death. Take glass. Put in purse. Leave. So, because the glass was taken, the poison should be in the glass and not the bottle. However, they also said they tested the bottle for all known poisons in the area or something to that effect. And we know this is from South America. So, it's possible they just couldn't test for this specifically. So, it could be in the bottle and they don't know it. However, that's unlikely because if they both drank from it, she's fine, he's not. So, yes. Bottle, safe, glass problem. We have to find the glass. That's the key. I think that's where we're at here. I think at some point we're going to have to, like, produce the glass, and hopefully the inspector and his constant striving for perfection has maintained the glass. I understand you were studying under Dr. Wilson, doing research. I don't want, like, the swan part of the hat, but I would love one of those big, floppy, like, super wide brim hats. I always think they look super cute. Research by sheer coincidence, perhaps. Into a deadly poison? See, the swan looks really cool. I do like the swan in theory, but I feel like I would only be able to wear that on special occasions like the Kentucky Derby. I don't think I could go like day to day with my swan hat. But if it didn't have the swan part, all I would need, it would just provide me shade. It would be perfect. Oh, it's a hot day. I'm going to wear my big floofy hat. What? Poison? Where are you going with this, council? A toxin known as curare. This is a special occasion. Yeah, that's true. Side note, I had jury duty last year. And, you know, I'm like, oh, I'm going to court. I need to wear, you know, nice clothes, a tie, you know, dress shoes, look good, you know, something with buttons, you know, button down. I showed up and like 90% of people were in like jeans and flip-flops and like t-shirts. Use the incredible life hack of not registering to vote. This was the first time I've ever done jury duty. I didn't have to actually do jury duty. I was like removed from the pool. Cause like the way it worked for me, the way it worked for where I'm at is we have like a main county courtroom and then a bunch of courtrooms throughout the county. So rather than going to your local one, which is like close by, like I've got a courtroom that's like 10 minutes from me, but I'm clear across the county. I'm like clear across the county from the main one. So I had to go all the way down there, and then they have a bunch of different cases from around the county, and they pick the, you know, they divvy everything up, and then like you have to go to the specific courtroom like days later, like 2 or 3 days later. Anyways, during that divvy up process, they told me I wasn't needed, and I'm like, yay! But it was still rough. Jury duty was very casual. Yeah. So, you know, I was thinking, because I've never been in a courtroom, right? I've never done jury duty. I was like, oh, I guess like I have to dress up, and I felt so foolish and overdressed, and it was like middle of summer. It was like 100 degrees, and I'm sitting there like, oh my god. But yeah, so that's my jury duty thing. First time I ever had to do it, and then I apparently don't have to do it again for at least a couple years, hopefully more. Well, so for me, it was so from what I've been told is the way that it works for most people is you go to like your local courthouse where like where the trial would take place, and then there's like, you know, 60 people and they only need 12 or whatever. This one, they like pooled all the cases, so there was like, I think they said there was like 300 people in the room, and they needed like 212 because each one needed like, you know, a smaller pool to start going through, because you're only going to need like the 12 actual people, but then you need alternates, and you have like another like round of interviews or whatever to knock it down from like, you know, 40 to 12 or 15 or whatever. So ours was like a very high percentage. I was very lucky not to have to do the next part. But apparently that's not how it works for most people. Most people, that you go in a room and there's like, you know, 6 of you, they only need like 12, 20 or something, maybe less even. Oh wow, that's crazy. Even the slightest amount of this deadly poison entering the body leads to instant death.
Objection!
What complete utter nonsense. Curare. I've never even heard of it. You wouldn't have. What do you mean? I mean that you wouldn't have heard of curare before for one very simple reason. It's from South America. It doesn't exist in our country. It doesn't exist? Correct. Which means, no matter what tests the police can do for toxins, they'd never identify curare. Yeah, I have an understanding for that, Tess. I'm kind of in the same boat at the moment. It was great because you got to get paid despite not working. Oh, that's pretty cool. Because there is no test available here that can identify the presence of this highly deadly poison. Ooh, good song. Council, does this deadly poison truly exist? According to this report, authored by the visiting research student from England, curare has long been used by the tribespeople of South America as a poison to lace their arrows. It seems that it's reasonably well known among European doctors and scientists. To lace their arrows? The report states that it's produced from the extract of a tree that grows deep in the Amazonian jungle. And it was first brought back to Europe at the turn of the century by explorers. It claims that animals shot by arrows laced with curare suffer instant death. Doesn't that about sum it up, Miss Brett?
Objection!
Trumpery! These aspirations are utter trumpery! I can get on board with that being a synonym for bullshit and nonsense. Nonsensical. I'm on board, yeah. Alright, I like you, dude. Good verbiage. To start with, if the victim had been administered some of this so-called deadly poison, he would have been squirming and writhing in pain, and the other diners would have surely noticed. No! Instant paralysis. Can I get a finger wag? I need a finger wag emote. Like, no, 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 no. Mm-mm. Maybe like a Sonic one. What do you say that, Inspector? Obviously, I would have noticed a disturbance like that. I don't remember anything like that either. I didn't notice the professor being in any kind of pain. According to this, however, it's the other way around. What do you mean, the other way around? The very fact that the victim didn't show any visible sign of distress is evidence that curare was used. Explain yourself, Counsel. The moment this toxin enters a person's system, it causes instant paralysis. In other words, afflicted victims lose all strength and are completely unable to move. Explains the burn. Even if they were in total agony, there would be no visible signs of pain at all. How terrible. Obviously, if a man lost all strength in his muscles, he'd collapse on the floor. But with a chair under him for support, as Dr. Wilson did, the effects could go largely unnoticed. But I don't follow Kazuma. That's just paralysis. I thought the poison caused instant death. The full explanation is extremely unpleasant. The poison causes immediate paralysis, as I said, leaving the victim unable to move. But after a short time, the paralysis is so severe it causes the muscles that control respiration to fail. That sounds horrifying, by the way. Respiration? In other words, the actual cause of death is suffocation. Okay, see, here's where you got me. Here's where I'm starting to say, hold on one second. Yeah, now I think we have a problem that I had not foreseen. I don't think it's this simple. Because if the actual cause of death is suffocation, that is something they can tell from, you know, even if it's not like a full autopsy or anything. I am sure that bleeding out and suffocation are two entirely different looking causes of death. And I don't see how one could conflate one with the other. And all the while, the victim is conscious and aware, just unable to move. Okay, again, horrifying. That's hideous. To the observer, it would look almost like the victim was slipping peacefully into an endless sleep. But for the victim himself, his final moments would be a living hell. That is the true nature of this deadly curare poison. And you're suggesting that this bottle, Counsel, actually contains this terrifying poison? No! I do not. I think the glass had it. This looks very convenient, is it? A hitherto unknown poison for which there's no means of testing. What a happy tale for the defense. Ahem, if I may. All these facts. You think you're so clever, but you must be taught some... Oh, okay. It is you who must be taught. Alright. So, this is how you Japanese behave, is it? What? You steal another's honest hard work and then announce the results as if you discovered them? I am appalled. What a loathsome act. Well, Miss Brett, the feeling is mutual. Whatever do you mean? Capitalizing on the unfortunate circumstances of an innocent man to frame him for a heinous crime? That really is a loathsome act. Wouldn't you agree? Enough of this. I, for one, refuse to accept it. The idea of some poison that doesn't even exist in the great empire of Japan is breaking the rules. I object! Why? Because it's devastating to my case! What's so funny? Oh, excuse me. Your Excellency. Yes, Miss Brett? May I borrow that bottle for a moment, please? Well, sure. I don't see why not. She's gonna... This isn't it. No, it's the glass game. Yo, you know what? Good on you, Inspector, for a good pour. That was impressive. Don't get too big for your boots, you insignificant little island boys. Sorry. To an Englishwoman such as myself, this whole affair is a farcical comedy. Yeah, it was a really good pour. You know, I'm pretty impressed by it. Your little police games and these foolish courtroom antics, it's laughable, really. Yeah, he really did. And you know what? Good on him. Good on him. It's times like this where I wish I could do a British accent. Unfortunately, my voice acting is not good enough to do that for Miss Brett. I'm getting bored of it now. It's time for the games to end. Who was it in the Ace Attorney game that I got to like give an actual Southern accent to and like felt great about it? Aw. There was one person that had a Southern accent, and then I was able to do like a Valley Girl accent for someone. For the one that was driving or whatever, like that involved a car. It was a lot of heart. It was a lot of heart. Yeah, I gave her a nice little Southern accent. Because like Southern accent's the only thing I can actually like even mildly do. Although the Valley Girl one worked okay. Cheers. She's gonna drink this. I'm gonna be like, oh, it must not be poison. I'm gonna be like, yes, but it's not in the bottle. It was in the glass. And the game's gonna be like, oh my god, how do you prove that? And I'm gonna find the glass, and then everything will be fine. Everyone gives a lot of Southern accent. Yeah. Don't drink evidence. Please note that the poison is not a liquid. It is something that they like, you know, it sounds like it's more like a powder because it, that was a good one-liner. She's pretty clever. She's funny. I mean, she's a murderer, but like she's funny. What is the matter? You all look quite stunned. No curare. The bottle was clean. Is that what you're saying? You look quite incredulous, little boy, but of course. That's the simple truth. Thank you for presenting the findings of my research so concisely here in this grand venue. Most kind. Thank you, waiter. Now then, Your Excellency. Yes, Miss Brett. I should like to be excused now, please. I think I've given more than enough of my time for the furtherance of friendship between our countries. We are most gratified with all the assistance you've given. The glass! Kazuma, you know what must be done. Had it been poisoned, that bottle. How did she swallow a whole glass and live to tell the tale? I don't understand it. I suppose if nothing else, this little Far Eastern charade. You know what? No, I'm not gonna say charade. I'm gonna say charade. Will make for interesting conversation at the next party I attend in London. There has to have been poison in that bottle. Doesn't there? No, 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 no. But there can't have been. Because otherwise, she would have keeled over dead. Come on, Ryunosuke. We have all the clues now. The bottle of water contains no poison. There is no poison in that bottle. What? Why, Ryunosuke? Isn't it obvious? If there's poison in there, she'd be dead. Sometimes your unadulterated really astounds me, but sometimes it's in need of a good staining until it's as dark as your uniform in the ways of the world. Wait, what? Oh, okay. So it contains poison? Oh, my train of thought was incorrect then, wasn't it? Alright, let me think. Let me think. Hold on. Hold on. Because I want to figure it out before the game spoon feeds it to me. I really thought it was that she took, like, the poisoned glass. Yeah. Oh, let me scroll through this. I don't need to read all of these. No food or drink other than water for 3 hours. Okay. Gosh, see, that's what I was really... I've really thought it was this. I thought this was, like, the key to the case. And now I'm all, like, frazzled and trying to figure out what's going on. Because going from I know what's going on to I don't know what's going on, like, at the drop of a hat is, it's kind of tough. So this has poison in it. Route of entry. The above mentioned effects occur... Oh, okay. The above mentioned effects occur when the poison enters the body through a wound, such as that inflicted by a blowpipe dart. So you don't get paralysis and death unless it, like, enters. So drinking doesn't do it. It has to enter a wound. So her drinking, that doesn't prove shit. So is it, like, not a gunshot wound? No. What did they say about that wound? Hold on. Single bullet fired at close range. Pectoral ballistic trauma. No exit wound. Couldn't drink anything but water. Oh, no, 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 no. Okay, okay. Wait. Hold on. I'm almost there. Give me a second. The above-mentioned effects occur when the poison enters the body through a wound. Instant paralysis of the entire body. The bottle is poisoned. The wound is the missing tooth. Yes. Yes, okay. Get a tooth pulled, you got a wound there. I mean, I assume they stitch you up after that, right? No, yeah, they I'm sure they stitch you up or something. So it's like the hole in the... Okay. It's one of two things. Let me walk through both of them. It's got to do either one is get tooth extracted, go to restaurant, order steak, clink glass poison or water poisoned. You drink it, it goes through like the wound from the surgery you just had. Brett drinks it, nothing happens because she has no wound in her mouth. You get paralyzed, arm falls down, gets burned. But the problem with that is, like, again, death by suffocation versus death via, like, bleeding out to a gunshot wound. I'm struggling to see how they, like, misinterpreted those two things. Because, like, those are vastly, vastly different. Alternatively, it could be like, because the bullet didn't come out, and they're talking about blow pipes and blow darts or something. And maybe that's like how it was injected. But no, because this thing's telling me that the bottle was poisoned. So it's got to be the first one, but I just don't... Okay. We'll worry about the final steps later. There's got to be something more to it than, oh, whoops, they suffocated. We thought they bled out. My bad. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna go. That's okay. We're gonna go with that. It contains poison. I think we're still missing something. The culprit did put curare poison in Dr. Wilson's carbonated water. The defense refuses to change its position. You're serious? Fool, are you blind? There's no possible way that bottle could contain poison. Miss Brett drinking the water from it? That's right. Which rather complicates your argument, I think. And I believe that complication can be explained. How exactly? I need to think through all the things that don't quite add up here, one by one. I'm sure the answer is in the evidence we have in the court record somewhere. It has to be. Very well. If the defense truly intends to assert this claim, I must ask you to support the assertion with evidence. What explains how the witness was able to consume the supposedly poisoned water unscathed?
Yes.
The answer to this riddle is right here in Miss Brett's own research report.
Attention!
It's not a valid explanation. No. After all, we don't speak English. That report is utter gibberish. This impudent young scoundrel is trying to ridicule the court, Your Excellency. I'm not trying to ridicule anyone, honest. I'm just reading Sasato's notes. I concur. This report is too extensive to be considered in its entirety by the court. You would direct us to the pertinent section, Counsel. Which section of the report reveals the alleged answer to this riddle? Special characteristics. We've been hearing a lot about this curare poison. And it's left me curious about something. Oh? Well, it sounds as though indigenous hunters have been using this poison for years to lace the heads of the arrows that they shoot at whatever prey they're hunting. So we've been led to believe, yes. And the point of hunting is to catch prey to eat. If they were to use these laced arrows, doesn't that mean there would be traces of poison left in the prey the hunters were going to eat? Yes, good point. So surely the hunters wouldn't want to eat their prey, would they? Because then they'd be eating poison. Now that'd be madness. But I actually found the answer to that conundrum in this research paper here. Under special characteristics, it says this. The poison starts to work after entering the body through a wound. Through a wound, you say? I see, that makes sense. The mention of that particular detail seemed a little strange to me, though. But it all makes sense when you interpret what's written like this. When curare enters the body through an open wound, it has terrifying poisonous effects. However, when it enters the body via the mouth, it has no poisonous effect whatsoever. Yo, shoutouts to like... shoutouts to the timeline where she like ate a slice of pizza that was too hot and like burned her mouth a little bit, drank some poison and just died. Had like a nice little cut in the inside of her mouth or something. Whoops. Whoopsies. You authored this research. You knew curare's special characteristics, and you knew that you could make a spectacle of drinking the water without any danger to yourself. Yeah, ate some Captain Crunch with Crunch Berries for breakfast. Now she's dead. You meddling little... Oh! Rapscallion! Oh, is it happening? Is it happening? Are we finally getting, like, the facade being dropped? The big reveal? The moment where she turns from this, like, calm and proper lady to someone just flipping the fuck out? The bird was alive this whole time, just chilling? Oh my god. Okay, I would like to retroactively put the bird back on my hat now. Because if it's ever not the right time for a bird hat, I can just tell the bird to hang out at home. You're an even better lawyer than I thought you'd be. Oh my god, thank you. You're the best. A lawyer? All this poison talk is fascinating, but I fail to see how it possibly... So, the ill-bred little puppy has a new toy to play with? Some facts he read in a book? But I'm afraid knowledge doesn't suit you, little boy. It only makes you look silly. What are you trying to say? Your schoolboyish logic has a fatal flaw. Schoolboyish? Flaw? As even your brain has managed to deduce, curare is safe to ingest. Seems likely that its effects are neutralized by the acidic nature of the gastric... whatever, I missed the word. Oh, yeah, well, of course. Gastric suckers, what are they? So, if this lethal poison is completely harmless when drunk, the professor wouldn't have died when he swallowed it, would he? It is the tooth. That's right. Good gracious. That's basic science. Science that even a schoolboy should be able to understand, no? Bum, 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 bum. Logic holds. If the lady and the professor drank the same poison, they would be affected in the same way. Are you trying to suggest? Yes, this curare poison is completely irrelevant to the case on trial. That's right. Surely even a little cockroach like you could understand something as simple as that. Ooh. What is this? Welling up inside me. I've never felt like this before. It's a sort of conviction to break down all the discrepancies. It's so intense, almost rage-like. And more than anything else, it's an animalistic desire to take down my prey.
Objection!
Objection! It's time! He did the thing! Okay, alright. I will take a screen cap and try and do an emote of the finger point objection. Would you prefer, like, the little bubble that says objection or the finger point? Oh, yeah, I think you needed to, like, belt that one out. I think that one needed to, like... It could have used a little more, you know, fire underneath it. I don't think so, Miss Giselle Brett. Finger point, obviously. Okay, I'll see what I can do. How dare you use that tone with me? You know very well that there's no fatal flaw here. You know exactly why, even though both you and the victim swallow the same poison. You are alive, but Dr. Wilson is dead. Counselor, I'm sure I don't need to remind you. You must provide compelling evidence. As we now know that this poison is completely harmless when ingested, why would Dr. Wilson alone have been killed by the curare? Boom! Take that! As Miss Brett so readily pointed out, she drank the same water as the professor. However, there was a fundamental and fatal difference between the two diners. A fatal difference. The toxic effects of curare are only felt when the poison enters the body through an open wound. So for a healthy person with no injuries, drinking it is completely harmless. But what if there was a wound inside the mouth of the person drinking the poisoned water? What if someone had Captain Crunch with some crunch berries for breakfast that morning? What if someone's bagel bites were a little too hot? Burned the roof of their mouth a little bit. Yes, like the wound you might have if you had just been to the dentist and had a tooth extracted, for example. Ah! Miss Brett, you've acknowledged many times in your testimony already that you were well aware of Dr. Wilson's dental appointment that day. Yeah. I do too. I do too, Blue Braid. So that's it. You use that knowledge to orchestrate this. Is she laughing? I don't like to repeat myself, but honestly, I can't resist. These childish courtroom games and your half-baked arguments are also, I wish I knew how to say that word, puerile? I don't know what it means. My vocabulary is sorely lacking, apparently. What do you mean? Don't worry, little schoolboy. You'll find out soon enough. You see, when you leave vital evidence lying around, you never know what might happen to it. I mean, it could just slip. Oh dear, how careless of me. I'm afraid some crucial evidence may have just been tragically destroyed. No! It's the English woman. She just smashed that bottle. And in the Supreme Court. What a terrible blunder. Officer, what are you waiting for? Oh, childlike in a derogatory way. Gotcha. Cool, cool, cool. Thank you. Also, hi. See, that's why I love playing like visual novels on stream, because like almost every stream there's at least one word that I've either never seen before and I get to learn what it is, or that I've only like read. I always had this problem, right? Because I used to read a ton. Like growing up, I loved reading. I'd go to the library, get like books all the time, loved all sorts of things. Would read constantly. But the problem with that is when the only time you come across words is like reading them, sometimes you don't know how to actually say them. So when it's time to actually read it out loud or say it in a conversation, you kind of like freeze and go, oh, I don't know how to say this. So like either that'll happen or I'll actually catch like a completely new word like this one. I love doing this. Love learning things. Collect up as much of the water from that broken bottle as possible at once. You're wasting your time. This delightful carpet under my feet here was a gift from the British Empire. I assure you, it will soak up the water beautifully. You have neither the technology nor the presence of mind to recover it. Ha 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 ha. How could you? You won't get away with this. You can thump the bench and shout as much as you'd like, little boy. But I'm afraid we'll never know now, will we? If there was really poison in the bottle or not. And let us not forget, we still have some very compelling evidence left intact. Isn't that right, counsel for the prosecution? This photographic print, I presume. That's right. And really, looking at this photograph, it's as clear as day, isn't it? The poor professor was sitting with his back to me. So of course the only person who could have shot him from the front is the little schoolboy. No, you killed the victim that day, using curare, and then in order to frame Ryunosuke Naruhodo for the crime. You waited until he picked up the pistol you'd arranged for him to find on the floor, before you shot the professor's dead body in the chest with your own hidden gun. Then, in the confusion that followed, all you had to do was turn the dead professor in his chair around. You see, you had every opportunity to commit this crime. What a wonderful imagination you have, young man. A hidden gun, you say? And I shot the professor's dead body, did I? Well, I'm terribly sorry, but you don't have a shred of evidence. Ugh. This is unbelievable. How could this be happening? We had her, but now, is she really gonna get away with it? The way she destroyed that evidence was obscene. Ryunosuke. Yes? We've come this far, but now you're the only one who can finish it. What? What do you mean? We've lost a vital piece of evidence. It's true. So if there are any clues left for us to use now, they must be in your head. In my head? You told me before that your powers of observation were the one thing you could really depend upon. Well, yeah, that's true, but I didn't manage to notice that this woman was a foreigner with a swan on her head. So think back again now. Try to remember every last detail about the scene that day. Everything you saw, everything you felt, every color, every smell. What I saw, what I felt. Every color. Oh! Somewhere in the vibrant memory of this same scene in my head, could there be another clue to expose the identity of Dr. Wilson's killer? There is a clue. Actually, Kazuma, I think I might have subplane. Thinking back over everything I saw, I think I might have uncovered another clue! Okay, I just want to let y'all know that I am absolutely loving how I'm like, oh yeah, it's poison. And then about an hour later, I'm just like, alright, what the fuck's going on? Let's go. This is wild. This lady's just like destroying evidence in front of the judge. Like, just does not give a shit. We're like remembering what colors things were instead of like the black and white photos. Kazuma's headband is still flapping in the wind. I'm having a great time. Come on then, let's wipe a smug smile off that English woman's face with some evidence. Alright, I can't wait. It's been niggling me for a while that something feels amiss in my memories of that day. Whatever it is could be the key to arriving at the truth about all this. It's here somewhere. The clue that shows who Dr. Wilson's real killer must have been is... I'm gonna guess it's the big giant thing of blood?
Take that!
Inspector Hosonaga, answer me this. What is it? Probably thinking about that bottle being smashed. As you've said a number of times now, you strive for perfection in your investigations, don't you? Absolutely. I wonder, therefore, if perhaps you took anything else from the scene of the crime. Like, for instance, the plate of steak that you took to the victim's table that day? Where are you going with this, little boy? It's just a memory that's been troubling me. What memory? I saw the scene shown in this photograph print with my own eye that day. And I saw that on the wooden base of the plate that the steak was served on was a spattering of blood. Oh, because the bullet wound didn't go through, the steak plate couldn't have blood on it and him be facing the way he's facing. He had to have been facing the other way. And what of it? Obviously, that must have happened when you shot the professor. No, that can't be the case. Take a good look at the photograph. Look at this photograph. And the relative position of everything. The plate of steak is almost directly behind the victim. If I'm supposed to have shot Dr. Wilson in the chest from the front, there's no way that blood from the victim could have ended up directly behind him. Yes, for blood to have made it onto the plate, it implies the plate was between the victim and the shooter, which means the shooter must have been sitting opposite the professor, as you were. Giselle Brett. I beg your pardon.
Hold it!
This could be the moment that my entire career in the police force has been leading to. Inspector, you mean... Yes, I took the plate. In the interest of preserving evidence from the scene of the crime. I took it, meat and all, and I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief because of it. You did what? I took the steak that you had been eating, Miss Brett. I took the steak that the sergeant had been eating. And I did it all in the name of justice? The inspector is so good! Then we can find out for sure whether or not there's a bloodstain on Miss Brett's plate. We must examine it now. Yeah, Hosonaga has been... Let me compare to you. Listen, don't get me wrong. Me and Gumshoe are like, you know, this. You can't see me. I'm holding my fingers crossed to demonstrate how close me and Gumshoe are. Me and Gumshoe are like this. I love Gumshoe. But Gumshoe is incompetent as fuck at his job. And this inspector seems the exact opposite of that. The court wishes to examine the plate from the victim's table immediately. Yes, sir. Show me blood. Sorry for the delay. Here's what you ordered. The steak. Well, what about the blood? Is there blood on it? Of course there isn't. The blood, man. Show the court. Yeah, Gumshoe's a bro. He's great. He's just not great at his job. Of course. Examine the plate at your leisure. No blood. Huh. Okay. No blood anywhere. But no, that's impossible! Wait, wait, no, 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 game, you're trying to trick me. Nope, nope, I'm not buying it. There is far more steak left on that plate than the plate that you just showed me. The other plate has like half the steak left. This has like at least 80% of the steak left. That's not the same plate. You gave me the wrong plate, Hosanaga. What an unbecoming expression, little boy. You see, this is why I always say you can't trust what the Japanese tell you. Wow, that's kinda not cool, lady. Dude! Oh my god! Have some sort of self-respect, dude. Like, what is wrong with you? I get it. She's cute and has a nice hat, but like, you're being ridiculous. I believe we may finally have reached a conclusion. Let's hope so. This let's pretend attempt at courtroom proceedings is painful to watch, but I do promise to do my best to forget all about it when it's over. Ryunosuke, we failed. Sorry-looking steak reveals the facts all too clearly. If the sorry-looking accused wishes to examine it again, be my guest. The plate of steak has been entered into the court record. Was it a figment of my imagination? This is it now. I've lost. Ryunosuke. It's not over yet. Hold on, let me look at the steak. Not until the final gavel. And even then, Ryunosuke, we still have appeals. You know, we could tie this up in the Court of Appeals for years, buddy. Look, there is no way. Not the same steak. Don't buy it. Won't buy it. Yeah. Look at this. Look at this. Not even close. Okay. Hold on. Two, we're counting squares on the steak. 2, 3, 3, 3.5, another 3.5. Hold on. 2, 3, 3.5, and then it's missing. Yeah. Oh. What? I used to read the Pearls Before Swine comic. I haven't done it in like years at this point, but there were a couple good, there was like a fair number of good ones. Ryunosuke, you idiot. Ryunosuke's like, wow, rich people have like toys in their cereal box too, but they do it with steak and like massively expensive gold coins. There is? Oh, apparently there's a logical explanation on why there's a coin here. It's a longhorn. Believe in myself? Really? Maybe I should at least examine the evidence. Yes. Can this plate of steak reveal any other clues at all? There's another clue! This plate of beef is hiding another clue. Another clue that will reveal the shocking truth. The only thing that's shocking here is your unhealthy fascination with beefsteak. Okay, look, beefsteak is really good, alright? Everyone likes steak. I had a steak yesterday. It was delicious. Your Excellency, I think I've made myself clear, haven't I? I will not be able to turn a blind eye to any more unnecessary procrastination in this trial. I'm sorry, Miss Brett, but we must ensure a thorough examination of the evidence. I will not give a ruling until I'm completely satisfied that all reasonable doubt has been dispelled. I see. As a newly affirmed ally of my country, that's still your position, is it? Thank you, Your Excellency. I don't know if the attempt at the Brett voice is working. You're gonna have to be the one to tell me that. You now clearly show the court what you were alluding. Where precisely on this plate of beefsteak is this new clue to be found? Who? What in the world is this? I think it's a Koban coin, and the hallmark is from the Hoi era. No, I don't mean what is it. I mean, what's it doing there? Or why are we watching this again? Wait, you say it was a Koban? Hey, Rosa! Hi, Omni! Thank you so much for the raid, Rosa. Let me get you a shout out. How was the rest of your stream? Boom! Everyone, go follow Rosalina VT. Friend of the stream. Was playing, what was it? Lost Ark today, I believe. That's pretty cool. I've never really seen that game. I like the character creation. It seemed very detailed. Hi, Omni. How are you doing? Hi, Rosa. I'm doing great. I'm trying to solve a mystery. And we're getting, like, into, like, the thick of the mystery now. We're, like, very close. We think we know what's going on now. We think we know what's going on now. But, you know how Ace Attorney games are. Every time you think you know what's going on, they give you a hard right turn. I also enjoyed doing maps today. That was fun. Thank you for inviting me. I always enjoy like Final Fantasy XIV maps. Oh, let me click back over here. Yes, and apart from the meat juices, it looks to be in good condition. I imagine it's very valuable. This isn't... Yeah, okay, so this is the same thing we just read. Alright, let's autoplay this. Okay. Where precisely on this plate of beef? Boom. Oh. Oh no! Oh, I think I'm supposed to, like, press a different button than I'm pressing to actually present the evidence.
Got it!
Yes, I have to like actually press Y to present instead of A. Good gracious, that's... a Koban? What on earth? Miss Brett, this is in fact the beefsteak that you ordered at the restaurant on the day in question, is it? Tell me, why is there an old coin seemingly hidden underneath the meat? What a ridiculous question. How should I know? I've never seen that thing before in my life. I don't know what this is, but I want no part of it. I fail to see how this is relevant. A coin under the meat? That could simply have been a careless mistake by the chef in a moment of distraction. Don't be absurd. We're supposed to believe that this happened by accident in the kitchen? A rare Koban just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak. If this turns out to be irrelevant to the case, I'll rip up my ticket to Great Britain right now. He's right. It can't be a coincidence. Your Excellency. Yes? A rare Koban just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak? If this turns out to be irrelevant to the case, I'll give up my lawyer job right now. By all means, don't let us stop you. No one invited you anyways. Alright, that's fair. Perhaps, little boy, you should realize that it is you who is irrelevant. The point is, it's essential that we ask the owner of this coin if he can explain what it's doing under that steak. The owner? Yes, it's obvious. There's only one person it can belong to. The owner of the Koban that was found underneath the beefsteak is the person that was looking for a missing Koban.
Take that!
Obviously, it can only be the antique dealer and owner, Kyurio Korikuta. As in Mr. Cucumber Suppling? Honestly, these ridiculous Japanese names are quite unfathomable. Wow, she's the worst. The old man who testified earlier alongside the military sergeant, correct? Yes, Your Excellency. I remember him saying that he was up to suppling with his Koban coin when it happened, at exactly the moment the gun was fired. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor. Too busy on the floor? What were you doing? Hunting for treasure? Indeed. The Koban, my prized coin. Then this Koban, do you mean to tell me... No, please. Why would Korikuto-san's Koban be sandwiched between the victim's beefsteak and its plate? It makes no sense. Which is why I'm asking to bring Korikuto back to the witness stand so we can ask him. Officer, bring both witnesses that testified earlier back in here. Wow, I have no idea what's happening anymore. I thought I had it, and then like I didn't have it, and then I thought I had it again, and now I don't know what's happening. I have a hunch, a strong hunch, that if we chase down the real significance of this Koban, we'll find that it's a key element in the case. I'm glad we stopped the other day, by the way, because I almost kept going, but like it's been, you know, almost 2 hours. What's this all about? Why have I been called up again? Don't you realize that it's dinner time for little baby Ido? When my son's belly is empty, he's fiercer than a pack of wolves. Yo, same. Exploited by the police, we were, like miserable dogs, forced to bear false witness. And when cast from this courtroom, myself, I became a ruined man in a trice, a worthless, withered antique. Nothing more have I to say. The sun has set on this Rasutai shop owner's existence. Be that as it may, something has come to light that requires your clarification. Yeah, which is totally fine. I'm just glad we stopped at the time, you know? Like, I'm glad that the cases are really long. There's a lot of stuff going on. It's really fun. That's it. The one. The very exact one that it is. The resplendent, splendiferous Hawaii treasure that my rusty bones managed to misplace that fateful day. It can't be. As I thought. Young man, enlighten this decrepit old fool. Put me out of my misery. Where was my treasure? Where was it dropped? Oh, I'm not sure if it was dropped anywhere. We found your coin sandwiched between a beefsteak and its plate, soaking in the seasoned meat's juices. Sandwiched? Soaking? Seriously? Clearly it couldn't have fallen there by accident, which means somebody must have hidden it there on purpose. Somebody concealed my treasure between a slab of meat and a metal plate. Who would do such a thing? Such an unconscionable thing? Excuse me. Could I say something? Yeah, of course. I mentioned this earlier on in the trial, but I was working undercover in the restaurant in order to investigate another case. Ah, yes, that's right. The secret undercover operation. The Carnival is a high-class Western cuisine restaurant. It attracts wealthy diners, including many foreigners. Recently, there's been a run of similarly executed thefts targeting the restaurant's rich clientele. A number of such incidents have been reported to the police bureau. Wicked crimes indeed. We wanted to nip the case in the bud quickly, especially with so many foreigners being affected. So that's why you're sent in undercover. Yes, dude? Dude? Look at the dude on the right! Oh, he's sweating bullets over there! What's wrong, buddy? Oh! That's right, that's right. Son's pulling the mustache. Okay. Yes, I took the job of a waiter at a restaurant in order to flush out the criminal. I tried to do the little left and right D-pad thing, thinking it wanted me like switch to like focus on him instead, but no. It seems likely that this Koban incident is the work of the same thief. So unbeknownst to us, there was a master thief at work in the restaurant on a regular basis. The place was already the scene of several crimes, it seems. Well, I did have a drink of water. I have been like talking nonstop for almost 2 hours now. And I was not super, or I guess the way I'll phrase it is, my attempts at voicing Miss Brett has left my throat, like, a little sore. I don't know about the master thief part, but the identity of the person who stole and hid Korikuta-san's Koban is all too clear. What? Oh yeah, there's the other side of it. Silly kiddo. I think the court would like to hear the defense's view on this matter. Who was the despicable scoundrel that stole the Koban and hid it under the steak? Yeah, wasn't doing it for you? Yeah, I wasn't sure. I was just trying to do like some sort of different voices. Just trying to mix it up a little. But like, I wasn't sure if it was working either. This guy, right? Because he's the other one that had the steak? Right? I mean, hold on. Obviously it's not Kazuma. Obviously it's not Mikotoba. Obviously it's not Takatsuchi. Obviously it's not John H. Wilson. I don't think it's Hosonaga. This guy had a steak. This guy lost the coin. This steak doesn't have blood on it. No. Okay, yeah, so just by process of elimination.
Take that!
Obviously, it can only be you. Sergeant Ayasanosa. What? How? How dare you? You monster. I stole that Koban, did I? I'm the master thief of the Carnival, am I? You seriously accusing me of these crimes, cadet? But it wasn't me. It was Ido. Ido is the mastermind behind all this. Alright. I expected like a lot of different possible sentences coming out of your mouth, dude. That's not one of them. The master thief. I don't know, sir. You shot Mr. Burns. It was the baby. You would push the blame for your crimes onto your own son, an innocent little baby? It's you who's the monster, Sergeant Nosa. You. Ah! Clippity clop, clippity clop, clippity clop, clippity clop, clippity clop, clippity clop. Ah! Oh my gosh. This poor dude. Nippon Imperial Army, Sergeant Ayesa Nosa, preparing to stand down in the Supreme Court, sir. The animations in this game are so good. Do any of you know of the extraordinarily low wages the Nippon Imperial Army pays those it expects to keep our country safe? I understand that the temporary increase in taxation owing to the recently ended conflicts remains in place, and I have heard that it's hard for lower-ranking soldiers to make a living, yes. All I want is to put a hot meal on the table for my son. That's why you were stealing things at the restaurant? The place is heaving with money. Every 3 days, I'd go in there and do reconnaissance for a target. And I'd enjoy chomping my way through a good steak at the same time. And your target that day was the old man and his koban? Yes, sir. He was an easy mark. I slipped the coin into my pocket without any trouble at all. A veritable phantom thief you are. I was all set to leave the steak I was halfway through devouring when it happened. Bang. Yes, when the professor was shot, I knew that if the police conducted a search and found the coin in my pocket, I'd be finished. I know too. So I hid the incriminating evidence as fast as I could. On the double, I slipped it under the steak, hoping that I'd be able to rendezvous with it again at a later date. This is ridiculous. Perhaps you could carry on with this absurd prattling in your own time. Well, Miss Brett. Oh, of course, dear lady. Of course. How rude of us. Quite sure there's no need to detain you any longer at all. May the esteemed gentlewoman please be excused, your excellency? Indeed not. The theft of the koban was clearly perpetrated by this baby-saddled sergeant. It would certainly appear to be unrelated to Dr. Wilson's murder. Of course it is. Hiding a coin under a lump of meat. The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me. And as for picking up your steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork, it's beyond nonsense. It's pure madness. Very well. Now that all questions concerning this witness's testimony have been answered. He's only up 2 on Kentucky in the second half. Oh my gosh, Todd, my bracket's already demolished. I had Arizona in the finals. And I mean, I don't like watch any college basketball. I just like make a bracket like almost at random for the fun of it. But they lost to a 15 seed today. And now it's tied. Let's go! I love upsets. Upsets in March Madness, please. I just want like everyone's bracket to be absolutely decimated. It's by far the best part of March Madness, like the upsets. Very well. Now that all questions concerning this witness's testimony have been answered, I see no further justification for detaining her. Miss Brett, you are free to leave. Wait! Objection. We have one we have one more thing to talk about. No. She's not free to leave. I'm not finished with her yet. Because if this steak was that dude's, then we don't have her steak yet. Which means we can't check the blood stain. which means she needs to stay until the inspector brings out the other steak that he thought was the sergeant's but was really hers. The inspector got him mixed up. She's not free to go. Sit your ass down. Thank you, Your Excellency. Good luck, everyone. And good day. Rinosuke, what's the matter with you? This is no time for daydreaming. Oh, no, it's just something about Miss Brett's parting words there got me thinking. I can't quite work out what exactly, but something she said jarred with me. I feel like there was a contradiction in there somewhere. Something didn't quite add up. If that's the case, don't just stand there thinking. Make your voice heard. You can think later, but if you don't call out now, it'll be too late. The trial will be over.
Hold it!
What is it now? Oh! I'm afraid, just one last time, there's something I'd like to ask you. I'd like you to explain the contradiction in your parting words from just a few moments ago. What are you talking about? What contradiction? What new student nonsense is this? Well, what parting words are you talking about, Ryunosuke? Hiding a coin under a lump of meat? That sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me. And as for picking up your steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork, it's beyond nonsense, it's pure madness. Yes, I'm right. What she said there exposed an undeniable contradiction. If that wasn't your steak, where is your steak, lady? Oh, we need some counsel. If Miss Brett's words truly are contradictory, where's the evidence to prove it? I like this song.
Take that!
The steak that Miss Brett had been eating before the professor was killed? Yes, go on. More accurately, Your Excellency, the steak that was on the victim's table just before the professor was killed. Now you're just splitting hairs. Not true. Doesn't something about the steak strike you as very unnatural? What on earth do you mean? It's extremely obvious. I'm talking about the shape of the edge where it's been eaten. I see you've noticed it too, Miss Brett. Noticed what? Just a few moments ago, Miss Brett claimed no Englishman could even contemplate picking up a steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork. She's a refined English gentlewoman. Then take a good look at the steak. In particular, the edge where it has been eaten. As you can see, there are clearly defined barbaric teeth marks there. It looks like Miss Brett has realized something. So, if the witness, as she claims, wouldn't contemplate eating anything without using a knife and fork, there shouldn't be teeth marks in the steak at all. What is your actual point? Perhaps she's ravenously hungry. Oh, she's sweating now. What do you say, dear lady? As I said, I must be really leaving now. Afternoon tea with the Minister of Justice cannot possibly wait any longer. Shut up! I've heard enough. You irritating little spectacled samurai relic. Oof. What's the matter, Miss Brett? Have we ruffled your feathers? Clearly, the witness knows what this means. She's realized the catastrophic implications those teeth marks in the steak have for her. Ryunosuke, do you know where you're going with this? I do. Yes, now at last, it's all come together. Yeah, Kazuma's great. I love Kazuma. The mysterious teeth marks in a steak that had allegedly been eaten with cutlery. The reason why the bloodstain I know I saw somehow seems to have disappeared. And most importantly, the evidence that proves once and for all who shot Dr. Wilson that day. I accept that these teeth marks and a stake are a little unnatural, as you put it, Counsel. But what are you suggesting that tells us? Everything, Your Excellency. Everything? Yes, I believe these barbaric teeth marks in the stake here amount to conclusive evidence in this case. Don't you put that evil into the world, Blue Braid. I am going to be devastated if something happens to him. I literally stopped playing Danganronpa 3 when my favorite character died, and I'm not saying exactly who it is. But if you played the game, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I literally just like got so mad because I like that character so much. Yeah, and that's why I was very, very careful in exactly how I phrased that and made sure not to say anything and tell everyone else not to. But like, I still haven't finished Danganronpa 3 because when that happened, I turned the game off. If something happens to Kazuma, I'm going to be so devastated, and it is up in the air whether we continue this game. I will be crushed. Conclusive evidence. Yeah, 2's really good. I like 2. I really like 1, 2, and I've watched a lot of 3. I just haven't played it myself. Like, they're all good. You wouldn't know the meaning of the phrase, typical Japanese empty threats. Oh, it's quite simple. If you really had such conclusive evidence, you would have presented it to the court long ago. Actually, the evidence I'm talking about hasn't been brought before the court yet. Hasn't been? What? But just because it hasn't been shown yet, doesn't mean that the evidence does not exist. This is absurd. The trial has run several hours already, and you say there's evidence yet to be brought forward? There can't be. I don't believe you have it. I don't, but there's someone who does have it. Someone in this very courtroom! And if that person is willing to submit the piece of evidence I'm referring to, it will solve every remaining mystery about this case. Very well. I have a feeling this will be my last request of the defense in this trial. Who possesses the conclusive evidence that will reveal the truth about this whole affair? You do, Hasanoga! The other stake! The answer's obvious. It's Inspector Hasanoga. I have it? Yes. You think I've been withholding conclusive evidence? That's ridiculous. No. I'm not saying that. Everyone's attention has been focused on the stake with the teeth marks. Now, earlier this afternoon, Sergeant Nosa told the court the following. I'd enjoyed chomping my way through a good steak. And as well as admitting to stealing the coin, he told us he'd slipped it under the steak. Sergeant Nosa, could you please confirm something for me? Was the stake that you put the coin under, in fact, your own stake? Tunjun? Affirmative, of course. I might be a soldier in the Imperial Nippon Army, but still. I'm not brave enough to ask a foreign gentlelady if she'd mind me manhandling her meal to hide something in it. In other words, the stake that the detective submitted as evidence earlier was in fact Sergeant Nosa's meal. That makes no sense. That plate was taken from the victim's table. Yet the gentlewoman doesn't take bites out of her steak, nor did she have any opportunity to steal the coin. Of course I didn't steal it. To even suggest such a thing would be an affront to the entire British Empire. Well then, how do you explain this paradox? Exactly. Surely you're not going to suggest that the sergeant switched the two stakes over? Other way around, dude. You did switch the plates? Oh. Well, after it happened, the, when I saw the civilian had been murdered right in front of my eyes like that, I panicked. As I said, I immediately lifted my stake and hid the coin. But then when the waiter announced he was an undercover policeman, I thought I'd had it. If he decided to investigate my slab of meat, that'd be it. I'd be getting my marching orders. So when the cadet here was arrested and taken off to the kitchen, I seized my chance. With military precision and timing, I switched my steak with the one on the foreign lady's table. You can't have. I never saw you do such a thing. It was called Operation Lightning Bolt. There was no time for strategic planning. It was do or die, I tell you. So yes, I did what had to be done. Unbelievable! However, fear not, prosecutor. I swear on the brass buttons of my uniform, that is all I did, sir. All you did? That's plenty, Sergeant. So, if Sergeant knows to switch the plates over, it means he took Miss Brett's steak and the plate it was on back to his own table. Inspector Hosanaga. Earlier in this trial, you told the court this. You said that you had not only taken Miss Brett's steak, but also the sergeant's. That to preserve evidence, you had taken both. Oh, she's about to lose her shit. Then please present it to the court now. The plate that was actually on the victim's table at the precise moment he was shot. What can that possibly tell us now? I mean, a cold slab of tough meat? It can't have the slightest bearing on the case. No, you're not wriggling your way out of it this time, lady. I beg your pardon? Surely you're not that forgetful. Surely you remember the reason why the steak pan promises to prove such a problem for you, no? You're the ones who decided it was a problem, not me. The reason the defense asked to see that plate was to confirm something that the defendant remembers seeing. Thinks he remembers. Quite sure of what I saw, Miss Brett. On the side of the plate that was on the table directly behind Dr. Wilson, there was a clear splattering of blood from the gunshot wound to the victim's chest. I believe the defendant's memory serves him well. And now we have the evidence to prove it. The plate you were eating from, Miss Brett. Let's not prolong this any further. Inspector, you will show the evidence to the court. Present the beef steak and the plate that was originally on the victim's table at the time of the incident. Yes, sir. Sorry for keeping you. The blood! Yeah, Determined Hosanaga is great. Big fan of Hosanaga, big fan of the judge. Big fan of Ryunosuke. Enormous fan of Kazuma is where we're at right now. Opposing prosecutor's kind of like a letdown so far. But I mean, when you're being compared to Edgeworth and Francisca von Karma, like, it's understandable, right? You know, we'll see if he like picks up the pace a little bit. We'll see if he has some time to shine like they did. Oh, that's right. Pain is the first one. That's right. Okay. Yeah. So we don't have to. That's not the wrong comparison. Or I'm sorry, that's not the correct comparison then. So, you know, so far love the judge, love Hosanaga, love Ryunosuke, am in love with Kazuma. My Edgeworth is on their way. I can't wait. I'm so excited. Please, feel free to examine it. The bloodstain. I want to point out, by the way, just for the record, there is more steak of this one left. I was correct in the thing that I thought was different. It was just not the thing that the game wanted me to see. I was 100% correct at noticing that that was not the same steak. That there was more of it in one picture than the other. Or there was more of it in the picture than what was in front of me. it was really about the coin or something.
Yes.
I like this song a lot. This makes everything clear. The blood you can see on the side of the plate shows that at the moment the victim was shot, he was facing the table with his back to me. In other words, it's impossible for Naruhodo to have shot the victim. Yeah. It can't be. In fact, there's only one person who could possibly have shot Dr. Wilson from the front. I'm sure everyone knows by now who that person is. Oh, here it comes. I'm ready. That's right. Miss Giselle Brett. It's you! Oh no, poor Swan. Outdone by a Japanese? Me? By a Japanese schoolboy? No. 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 Oh my god, I love it! Oh! It's so good! The animations are incredible! Ah! The little chicks! Oh, I love this game. This game is wonderful. Beep, beep, beep. Please excuse my little outburst. I briefly lost my composure. Most unbecoming behavior for an English gentlewoman. Forgive me. Well, Miss Brett. I think it's time you told the court what actually happened that day. The truth this time. Gladly, Your Excellency. It was I who took the professor's life using curare. As you surmised, I chose the particular day for one important reason. The professor had a dental appointment for the extraction of one of his teeth in the morning. So you plan to kill the professor, knowing that no trace of poison will be found in his water, because curare is unheard of here in Japan. Yes, of course. I never intended to remain at the restaurant for as long as I did. I only needed to see the professor take one tiny sip of his water and it would be all over. I would place the steak I had ordered in front of him to make it appear as though he had been dining alone, and leave immediately. However, before any of that happened, there was an unexpected visitor at the professor's table. Yes, you. Who else? Such a trifling matter, but the fact that you decided to come over to greet the professor meant that I had lost my chance to slip away unnoticed. In due course, the professor took a sip of his water and was paralyzed. I made sure he was sitting in his chair such that he wouldn't fall. There was no going back at that point, so I concocted a plan on the spur of the moment. A plan to pin Dr. Wilson's murder on this innocent man. I happened to know that the professor always carried a gun. I decided to use that fact to my advantage. I had the bottle of curare in my handbag, and my own pistol concealed under my skirt. There were two guns. Yes. Then I finished my coffee and got up to leave. That's when I noticed the professor's gun, which you had presumably placed on the floor. A place where you were sure that I would notice it. And everything went according to plan. You noticed the gun, as I intended. And then, just as you bent down to pick it up, bang! That's when you shot the professor with your own gun. Even though at that point, he was already dead. Okay, so, I just want to be clear. I want to be clear. The problematic aspect of this case was the incompetence of the coroner equivalent, determining that the cause of death was a gunshot wound that happened after the person had died, compared to suffocation. This case could have been open and shut like that if they were better at their job. The gunshot caused a commotion, at which point the waiter appeared. Obviously, I assumed Naruhodo-san was the culprit and apprehended him. I took him to the pantry that adjoins the kitchen and locked him inside. That's right, Blue Braid. They did mention that, like, and I think that, oh, you know what? Hold on. Wait. I don't actually have an issue with this. I think they also mentioned that they didn't even do autopsies or anything. That was a thing that, like, the, like, foreign places had started doing, but they haven't yet. So they just have someone look at it. And I guess if you walk up and see a gunshot wound to the chest, you just go, alright, they got shot by a gun, the end. Which is like a reasonable assumption. So you know what? Okay. Alright. I don't actually have a problem with that. That's explained. And it's kind of nice to play one of these games where, like, the evidence I have might not be 100% exactly as we think. Pretty cool. That's why I took the opportunity to turn the professor and his chair around. Because, of course, you needed to make it look like the defendant had shot Dr. Wilson from where he picked up the gun. But why? So there you have it. That is the entirety of my misdemeanor. Your Excellency, I wonder, might I speak with you in private later? I shall call on you. Misdemeanor? You murdered someone. That's a felony. That's like... And what do you mean she's leaving? Bailiff! The murderer just confessed. No. No, I don't think I can. I don't think I can. It would seem this trial has finally run its course. I presume the prosecution is in agreement. Rookie student. Better start getting used to tough opposition. Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Yeah? This insult to the to the Aoshi family name will never be forgotten. You become conceited with age, Council, but the old have to stand aside and make way for the new. But why did she kill him? It's the way of the world. May you never forget that. Yo! Kazuma, you're so cool. A 1,000 millennia may pass and still the Aoshi clan will never measure up to the Naruhodo clan. Oh my god. So find someone that hypes you up the way that Kazuma hypes up Ryunosuke. Like, please. I beg of you. It's gotta be amazing. There better be some damn confetti with a not guilty verdict just right. I loved the confetti. Oh, she is going into police custody? Okay. When she said that she was gonna go now, I was like, after saying misdemeanor, I was like, wait, hold on. And history is the start of a new chapter in our country's judicial system. Despite being summoned as the accused, you, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, present an excellent case. Thank you, Your Excellency. The use of evidence and deduction to unravel the truth is a modern mythology. After all, it has only been a few short decades since our country opened its doors to the wider world. But the Western ideas of science are rapidly gaining acceptance here. I feel sure that science will soon bring new methods of investigation and new procedures of justice. A new future of law awaits, but what will it look like? I cannot begin to imagine. That is for the young to pursue. Kazuma! After this trial, you are set to embark on a journey of discovery to the illustrious British Empire. No! Don't leave me! Don't leave me, Kazuma! Learn all you can. Absorb everything of the wider world that you are able to. And do not forget to fulfill the mission imposed upon you. I understand, Your Excellency. What was that about? Why do you look so grave all of a sudden? Never mind. As for you, Ryunosuke. In you I sense, how can I put it, unusual potential. I very much look forward to seeing how you carry that onwards. It's time to deliver the final verdict. Alright, time. Is the game good or is the game bad? Do we get confetti or do we not? Let's find out. I hereby find the defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, not guilty. Yeah! Good game! Good game! The court is now adjourned. Not just confetti. Were those like the cherry blossoms? Oh, that's so good. That's even better. Oh, I'm so happy. We did it. We didn't murder someone. We got confetti. I can't believe it. I can't believe what's happened. I made it. I defended myself and made it through that horrendous trial. Ryunosuke, you finally pulled it off. Congratulations. Well, I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you, Kazuma. Ha ha ha. No, it was a pleasure to watch you at work. So you owe me an extra large sukiyaki from the place on University Street. Don't forget. Let's go now. Let's go eat. Good afternoon. All your hard work has certainly paid off. Hey, thank you. Congratulations, both of you, for proving Naruhodo-san's innocent. Our trusty judicial assistant. You worked hard for that result too, you know. Oh no, I didn't do any. Yes, you did. Thank you so much. If we hadn't had that research report of Miss Brett, I don't know how things would have turned out. Your kind words should really be for my father. Okay, I really like her already. She looked so happy when she got, like, praised. I was simply doing as he asked. It was his idea for me to go to the university and investigate. Your father? Ah, yes, of course. Susato Mikotoba. Speaking of Mikotoba... Ah, there you are. I believe congratulations are in order. Naruhodo, you did an excellent job. Thank you, Professor. Oh no, it is I who should be thanking you. After all, your efforts exposed the true criminal that took the life of my good friend. Good friend? Oh yes, you mentioned that before. It was you who actually invited Dr. Wilson to the university, wasn't it? That's right. Professor Mikotoba studied overseas himself. He went to study forensic medicine in Great Britain. Presumably, that's when you met Dr. Wilson? Exactly. In those days, we worked together in the same hospital. Oh, you work together? I do love Maya Fey. But I also love Mia Fey. And like Pearl Faye is adorable. The case with like the vase is amazing. Susato is the best Maya. It's your turn. Great Britain is a magnificent country. It leads the world. He's gonna leave me. In science, medicine, engineering, culture, and of course in law. Watch and learn, my boy. See what's happening in the world's largest melting pot. If this does not end with Kazuma making a heroic last-second appearance in the final case of this game to save my ass, I'm going to be sad. Kicking the doors down. I'm back from England. Ryunosuke, I've come to save you. I'll learn all that I can. I swear on this. The spirit of the Asogi clan. You're not taking that sword to Great Britain, are you? Of course I am. A Japanese man's katana is his soul. This blade shows me where I need to go. And cuts down anything that's in my way. I've seen how sharp it is. That reminds me, what's happened to the woman? To Giselle Brett? After all, she's guilty of murder. Ah yes, her. It's not easy to tell you this, but what do you mean? Surely she's gonna face trial herself now. She's a true culprit after all. She will be leaving Japan in the very near future. For Shanghai. What? Shanghai? Giselle Brett will not appear in court again in this country, I'm certain of that. But why not? It's a matter of consular jurisdiction. Inspector Hosonaga! It was a hard-fought battle in the courtroom today. Very impressive to watch. I must congratulate... But what's all this about consular jurisdiction? We cannot try this particular foreigner for her crimes here in Japan. Oh, it's kind of like the, what is it called? Diplomatic immunity? Is that the phrase I'm thinking of? Where, like, if you're a high-up member of another country, like... Yeah, I want to say diplomatic immunity is the word I'm looking for, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm like 90% sure. 95. We can't try her? But then who? Who's going to bring her to justice? A British consular court will hear her case, somewhere far away where our voices can't be heard. But why a court? Professor, I simply don't understand. I thought consular courts were a thing of the past now that we've signed the friendship treaty. Yes, in normal circumstances, you're right. And so long as there's not a serious incident of a highly political nature to our respective governments. Oh, she's someone important, isn't she? They can't invoke one just like that. Oh, can't they? She's a student, but it doesn't justify our government making secret agreements about her fate, does it? Something strange is going on. Miss Brett can't be held accountable for her actions. I'm afraid that for the young student, today's trial was nothing more than a game all along. There's never any danger of comeuppance for her. I don't believe it. I mean, she's like, obviously very wealthy. Did we ever really think she was going to face consequences for her actions? Come on. The British government's Foreign Affairs Ministry has demanded that we hand over custody of Miss Brett. They're obviously taking this case of a foreign student committing murder very seriously. It's all going to change from now on. We can make it change. This is a time of great turmoil. This new era heralded by the start of the 20th century. One day, I have no doubt, that woman will receive the judgment she deserves. Change is coming, and we're the ones driving it. Well, I think that's enough seriousness for now. This evening calls for a celebratory drink! Well, Professor... You're right, this is no time for gloomy faces. We should be celebrating Ryunosuke's not guilty verdict. Let's start having some fun. In that case, might I suggest the Carnival? As the head waiter, I should be delighted to provide you with ample food and drink. You're a detective, Hosonaga-san, aren't you? Let's not worry about details for now. To the Carnival! Will you accompany us, Professor? Of course. The Carnival's food is second to none. I shall go and attend to the paperwork for Naruhodo-san's release. No! You come with us! Get food! Thank you. Oh. Or not. So, Giselle Brett won't be tried here. I suppose that means I'll never know. I'll never find out why she killed Dr. Wilson. Oh! See, the fact that we didn't have a motive was bothering me. And I was just gonna be like, okay, they don't really care about, like, the why, they just care about the how. But no, it's part of the story. Ooh. Yeah, can we talk about that? Can we, like, now that we're done with this, let's get him, like, checked out, because, like, you know, coughing up blood constantly is not great. Coughing up blood at all is not great, to be fair. Thanks again. You really saved my skin today. I didn't do a thing. You were the lawyer in there, weren't you? That defense was all your own work. Your skills made the difference, though. One day, I bet you'll be the best lawyer in the world. I'm not so sure about that. To be honest, something kept occurring to me over and over again during that trial. I couldn't help thinking that maybe you're the one destined to become a great lawyer, not me. Come on, be serious. If I helped you today, it was only right at the very start of the trial. But you have a natural talent for it. For being a defense lawyer, I mean. Not me. All that tense verbal combat? I never want to go through that ever again. I did what you told me to do. That's all. Because I knew I could trust you. That's the point. Sorry? What do you mean? That's the point. Listen, Ryunosuke. Do you know what the most crucial weapon is that any lawyer needs in order to win? Knowledge of the law? No, trust in his client. The ability to believe. To believe? To believe what? A defense lawyer has to fight for his clients. He has to believe in them at all times. Like you believed in me when I said I didn't do it. I'm human, just like you. I don't have some superhuman ability to know the truth. But you have to make a choice about what to believe and stick to it when you're defending someone. Sometimes in the courtroom, you can really be backed into a corner. But being able to remain faithful to what you chose to believe in, even then, well, that's not something that anyone can do. It takes a special kind of person. Believing in your client. Just look at today's trial. I'm a student lawyer with precious little real experience, but you never stopped believing in me. You face seemingly hopeless situations time and again, but you never stopped looking for the truth. And in the end, you found it through your own efforts, and because you never stopped believing in me. Thanks, Kazuma. There's something I want to ask you, actually, Ryunosuke. It's a favor, really. Something very important to me. Sounds serious. What is? Ah, you're still here, are you? Inspector, I've arranged some rickshaws for us. Let's go. Thank you. We'll be right there. Let's pick up this conversation. No! Don't leave me hanging. What can I do for you? What can I do for you? And your study tour to Great Britain, don't forget. Oh yes, that too. So my very first trial came to an end. Kazuma. Professor Mikotoba. Susato, who acts as my assistant. Inspector Hosonaga, who didn't really play much of a part, but still... Oh, come on! Ooh, it was because of the help and support of all these people that I managed to get through that trial. Oh, what is it? What's the other mystery novel? More importantly, Cosmo hadn't yet managed to ask his favor of me. Little did I realize just how much it would change my life. Ba 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 na 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 na. Defense debut achievement unlocked. I would love to save my progress. Episode 2. Oh. The Adventure of the Unbreakable Speckled Band. The Runaway Room. The Clouded Kokoro. The Hound of the Baskervilles. Hound of the Baskervilles, I think, is a book that I've read. I don't remember what it was. I think I read it in school. The Second Maya. Oh, I don't think I've heard of that one. Why don't you like did you actually get to see what it looks like? Like do you have like a like did they have a trailer or something? It's Sherlock Holmes. Okay. Cool. I couldn't remember if it was like Sherlock Holmes or there was like a famous mystery book that we read in school that involved like being locked in like a cask underground or something, like in like the basement of a mansion. Like I don't think that was Sherlock Holmes. It was something else, but I can't remember what it was, and that's what I was trying to decide what it was, like if it was Sherlock Holmes or that thing. But then I lost my train of thought because I couldn't remember what that thing was. Um, was it like the Cask of Monte Cristo or something? There's a trailer for it. Could you post it to the Discord for me? I would love to see it. I am going to stand up, stretch my legs, get lots of water, and take a quick break, and then we'll come back and start chapter 2 for a little bit. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. I'm back. Yeah, I'm gonna check that out after the stream Blue Braid, because I'm very interested in things like 999. Like, you know I love these. Enjoy chapter 2, need to get to bed, you have work in the morning. Yo, have a great night, Tass. Thank you so much for hanging out. Trying the Decidui raid. First try did not go well. I brought a T-Tart and a noodle cake. Oof. Oof. I didn't realize there was another raid already. Did not realize. Yeah, start chapter 2, I guess. Wait, can I just like play chapter 3? You can. Oh, I can start at any episode I want. Oh, can I do this in any order? Is that the joke? Oh. No. Oh, okay. Please no. Okay, never mind. I have no idea why why it gave me the option to. Let's do chapter 2 then. Oh, it started at midnight.
In a corner of that small,
Ooh.
dark room, Sholmes and I waited with bated breath. In time, there came from the ventilator a hiss and a soft, almost growl-like sound. Suddenly, Sholmes sprang into action,
Sholmes.
furiously with his cane at a point in the darkness. "You see it, Wilson?" he yelled,
Wilson?
his voice reverberating through the air. I raised my dark lantern shutter, and the room slowly came into view.
Oh, this is cool looking.
Sholmes was staring intently at one particular corner when he started whispering to me. The victim's most perplexing final words. The speckled band. I believe this is the terrible coil to which you referred, Wilson. In front of us was an enormous adder, its fangs bared as it threatened to strike. It truly was the most terrible speckled band I had ever seen.
It's a good thing I didn't click a different one. Otherwise, it wouldn't have made sense. I mean, that was neat. I just don't know. That's pretty cool, though. Oh, we got an animated cutscene?
Let us unravel this mystery and discover what events led to this curious murder. Pray, do excuse me. The cabin door was bolted from the inside when the man was killed. No marks to suggest the bolt was tampered with in any way. So, this would appear to be a locked room mystery. In his final moments, the victim scrawled a message on the floor. Almost certainly with the ink from this upset bottle. A Russian word. So the victim was a Russian man then. And the letters are well formed, suggesting he was compos mentis at the time. This is a most extraordinary script. And evidently not penned by the same hand as this message. In fact, I deduce it was written by someone of a different nationality. This paper seal was placed just prior to the incident, by the victim himself, I would venture. Well, what have we here?
Who are you, and what do you think you're doing here?
No one must touch before maritime police come. We must wait.
Shh. That won't be necessary. You see, in less than 5 seconds from now, I will reveal the killer to you.
What? Don't be absurd. This is murder. I need cabin locked from inside.
Ah yes, the locked room. But that mystery is paper thin.
You don't mean the culprit is in there?
Who are you, and where have you come from?
I'm a great British consultant detective, the only one in the world. Herlock Sholmes.
Herlock Sholmes. My head is throbbing. What's going on? Something's not right here. There's trouble in the air. This is like the third different game you've seen use Herlock Sholmes. Wait. I can't move. What the? Why am I handcuffed? So you wake up now, Way to drag you out of the wardrobe. I do not believe how you could not wake up. You are a true cold-blooded man. You found me then. We found you, and now you pay. Criminal! How long are you hiding in that tiny wardrobe, Sorry. Now you have been found, it is time to admit your crimes. At least want to find out how cold the ocean is. No, I'll tell you everything. There's only one thing I'd like to know from you. Isn't that... Sasato, why did you do it? Why did you take his life? Miss Sasato. Wait, what did you just say? Take his life? Where? Where is he? Where's Cosmo? Oh no! Oh no! Just can't have nice things, I guess. Take a sip of water. You know, I think yesterday at some point, I said, oh, being my mentor does not bode well for Kazuma. And then he was like, oh, I'm going on a trip. And I was like, oh, no. They're just going to have him leave. And it'll be me and Sasato until he comes back, like, to save me at the end. Similar to how, like, Francesca did at the end, you know, in 2. But no. Man, you know, I talked to a couple people about this game. Like, my Final Fantasy XIV raid group. Someone asked me, like, how I liked it. And I was like, I like it. And someone made the comment, yeah, he really likes Kazuma. And I was like, yeah, everyone does. And at the time, I thought it was just like, yeah, that character's cool. But it turns out that that was everyone, like, kind of snickering. Because my heart was about to be broken. Is it so hard to just have, like, one time where this doesn't happen? One time where they don't introduce, like, a really cool, super supportive friend and then immediately murder them? Alright. Well, let's continue. I'm pretty disappointed. You know, I should have just stopped the game after the first case and been like, you know, we rode off into the sunset. I went to England with them. Everyone was happy. The end. It was such a happy ending. It was 2 short weeks ago. Are you sure about this? Won't we get in trouble? Don't you find it fun being a stowaway? Besides, how else could you come to England with me to study? There's really something else when they brought your luggage in here earlier, though. The way that Russian crewman just tossed your traveling case on the floor. Thought I was gonna die. Yes, I still can't quite believe that. I didn't think you'd be able to fit inside my trunk. You must be even less of a man than you look. Honestly, I thought I'd broken every bone in my body. Well, it's about 50 days until we dock in Great Britain. But if you confine yourself to my cabin here, I don't expect anyone will discover you. I hope not. I get the feeling those Russians wouldn't be very forgiving of a stowaway. They're a sturdy bunch, that's for sure. What I want to know is, why do we need to keep it a secret from the young lady? From our faithful judicial assistant, Miko Toba? From your close friend, more to the point. Surely we could confide in her, couldn't we? I don't believe she'd give me away. No, but if she knew what we'd done, that would make her guilty by association. That's only you and I know about this. I'm gonna clean the cabin. I know it's cramped, but you better get in here, I think. It won't be for long. And anyway, compared to hiding inside my traveling case, it'll be a breeze. What if the student decides to open the wardrobe for some reason? I'll tell you what. Why don't you write keep out or something on this piece of paper? Then I can stick it over the wardrobe doors once you're inside. We've been at sea for 15 days. How can this have happened? We were supposed to be going on this adventure to England together. We leave you at next port. Stay quiet until then. Don't make more trouble. I did still win the ship, but murdering my best friend? No one else could have done it. Admit the truth. Susato. Please, tell me what happened. I need to know. He really has been killed, hasn't he? This isn't just a bad dream. And these handcuffs. They think I did it? They think I'm Kazuma's killer? When they found him, the cabin was locked from the inside. What do you mean? There's no access to the cabin via a porthole window, and the bolt on the door can't be operated from outside. In other words, after the crime, the culprit couldn't have escaped these 4 walls. What about the air vent up there? Or to put it another way, the culprit can only have been somebody inside this cabin. We have some other explanation. How did he die? What happened? Please, you have to tell me. The cause of death is still undetermined. They don't know how he died. The ship's doctor is examining the body, but of course has no post-mortem analysis experience. I don't suppose we should learn more until an expert has been consulted at our next port of call. Presumably that means there were no obvious external signs of injury. Can't anyone tell me exactly what happened here in this cabin? I don't understand it. Why would anyone want to kill Kazuma? Presumably that's something you know the answer to better than anyone. Whatever you say, you were here in the cabin after all. Yes, I was, but... he would always wake before dawn and do his training first thing in the morning. I was waiting outside his cabin, as I have every day so far on this voyage. But this morning he did not come. I could sense that he wouldn't. He was already dead when Sasato arrived at his cabin door? I knocked, but there was no reply. Then I started to become worried. I went to find a member of the crew. The crewman forced the cabin door open, and when we managed to get inside, there was Kazuma collapsed on the floor. White tape there now shows exactly where he was found. I had no idea anything had happened. I must have been asleep in the wardrobe somehow. That's just very hard to believe. It's all very hard to believe. My turn to ask you a question. Head feels so heavy. So throbbing. Why are you even on board this ship? You said something before about being a stowaway, didn't you? Oh, yes. I'm afraid that's true. It's 2 weeks since we left Japan now, and I've been shut up in this cabin the entire time. I had no idea. How could you have occupied Kazuma's cabin for so long without him noticing? No, that would have been impossible, obviously. Yes, of course. Kazuma invited me. He wanted us to go to England together. He actually asked you? But why? I'm afraid I don't really know the reason myself. I don't understand. Cosmo, why do you want this? What's the real reason? Why go to such extreme lengths to smuggle me to England with you? It's an idea that's been in my mind ever since the end of that incredible trial. I think I told you then, didn't I? That you ought to become a lawyer yourself? Well, yes, you did say that, but I didn't think you were serious. You have a talent for it, I can assure. But I've never really thought about becoming a lawyer. The look in his eyes, then, it was darker than I've ever seen it before. Trying to protect me to avoid me becoming guilty by association. That's exactly right, yes. Word perfect, in fact. I like this song. No, it's... Please, forget it. Susato, you have to believe me. I didn't do it. I really don't want to doubt you. But the trouble is, there's no one else who could possibly have done this. Kazuma, I don't understand. Why? I can't take this. Don't try and go anywhere. You're the perpetrator of this crime. You can't leave. I can't allow that to happen. I'm sorry. But Cosmo was killed right under my nose here, and I didn't do anything to stop it. And now I'm supposed to just sit around. My hands tied, while whoever did this walks free? No, I can't allow that to happen. Well, what do you propose to do then? I'm gonna investigate. I'm gonna find out exactly what happened here. Oh yeah! The investigation! We didn't do an investigation at all in the last game, or the last chapter, did we? Hiya! That was a Susato takedown! Get used to those. I need evidence. So I've been trying to prove I'm not guilty of this awful crime.
Yes!
I was discovered in the wardrobe before. Was this piece of paper stuck over the doors? Yes, it was. I remember clearly. I thought so. Cosmo always put it in place whenever I went to sleep in there. Just in case the cabin steward or another crew member decided to look inside. So naturally, he did the same last night as well. Gentleman who discovered you peeled that sign from the wardrobe doors. It's impossible that I killed Kazuma. Even if you were sprawled hopelessly on the floor. I can see why Kazuma-sama thought so highly of you. Now, do you think perhaps you could help me up? A magician? Investigate as thoroughly as possible in here. Okay. I'll do the same. Let's get to work. Please don't misunderstand me. I still have my doubts. Okay. You're conjuring tricks to destroy evidence. Well, I mean, let's first look at the vent that's obviously the escape route, right? Hole through which fresh air can circulate into the cabin. Isn't that a little odd? What do you mean? Well, this ventilator, if that's what it is. Looks like it must connect to the next door cabin. It would appear to, you're right. Which purpose to allow fresh air into the room, surely it should be connected to the outside. That's true. Perhaps it's so that rain and spray don't find their way in when seas are rough. Or something like that. I suppose, maybe that's it. Oh dear, that won't do. What's the matter? I never did Apollo justice! Whenever I'm examining things, I always find myself so focused I forget to look around properly. Left and right. Okay. I've heard the Apollo series is pretty good too. Okay, I'm gonna start here. Bell cord contraption. What do you mean contraption? I read about it in a book I was studying that talked about life in Great Britain. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. That's really funny. Large households often have bell cords like this, which you can pull to ring a bell to summon servants. That sounds almost magical. Shall we give it a little try? Yes. In the interest of cultural research, obviously. Nobody comes for lowly Japanese people. Aww. No, I'm sure it's just that everyone is busy. That's all. Aww. In 2 weeks. Have you really been living in that wardrobe the entire time? Living isn't quite the right description. Poor Kazuma, he didn't even make it to his destination. It looks as though the last entry is incomplete. Which means he was in the middle of writing something, yeah. Kazuma may have departed this world, but you must not read his private thoughts. What if it's something important? Something relevant to the case? Alright. I won't read it. Poor Kazuma. In this case, isn't the need for clues more important? That's a very large traveling case, isn't it? Carries a lot of memories for me. Memories? What do you mean? Well, that's actually how I stowed away on this vessel. I was brought on board inside that case. This way up? Which in hindsight, I should have realized the foreign crewman would be unable to read. I was turned over and over and over, then I was tossed on the floor in here. It was just painful than the Sasato takedown. Oh, no, that's not what I want. I wanted the ink. Yeah, she's great so far. Did Cosmo write that before he died? Looks like it's written in ink. Must have knocked the ink pot from the desk when he collapsed on the floor. Trying to leave some kind of clue. I can't read your writing. What language is it? I don't know. It's not a foreign script I'm familiar with. What does it mean? Hello? Excuse me? Suspiciously tall. I do not know who that is. Just like a member of the crew. Something very unusual about him. Is he investigating Cosmo's desk, or is he just playing on it? I can't tell. We simply must talk with him. Oh, I can't converse. Excuse me. Excuse me, do you have a moment? This is a critical point in my investigation. Maybe I should leave him alone. He seems a little unfriendly. Yes, perhaps that would be for the best. Ah! Greetings! I hope I haven't kept you long. What exactly were you doing on Cosmo's desk just now? Ah, I see. Fascinating. Sorry? What do you see? Feels like he's looking right through me. Oh yes, everything is clear now. The train of reasoning has run its course. My deductions have crystallized. Have been in Afghanistan, I perceive. Just recently returned, if I'm not mistaken? Sorry? What? And now, while venturing toward foreign climes, you find yourself in the most troubling predicament. Oh, well that's true at least. But how? How the deuce did I know that, perhaps? It was really a most elementary deduction, hardly worth explaining. Have you perhaps managed to deduce anything else? But of course, a great many things. There's no mystery, my dear madam. For example, you have fled your native land of Russia, being, as you are, a merciless revolutionary. You leave 16 victims of assassination in your wake, and now travel to England to blow up the Crystal Tower. What are you talking about? With the beribboned occupant of this very cabin discovered your identity, you ended his life too. No. Beribboned is a good word. I believe that summarizes the facts beautifully. No need to hide the truth now. Nothing deceives these eyes. Oh gosh. He's an idiot. Well, that's a letdown. I was expecting some, like, very, you know, witty and intelligent and insightful person. Instead, he's just a moron. You're talking about me, aren't you? Certainly I am. Do you see another in this cabin who fits the bill? A Russian assassin with 16 victims to his name? I only see one person who fits the bill. So it's true. It was you who did this to Kazuma. What? And you're plotting a revolution too? Shameful behavior. Absolutely wicked. Oh no, the throw. This is ridiculous. How can you do it? For pity's sake, open your eyes. I'm not a Russian revolutionary, obviously. Oh, forgive me. That's for you. What kind of deduction was that? You were just saying the first thing that came into your head. Ah, but was I not right? No! While venturing toward foreign climes, you do find yourself in the most troubling predicament, do you not? Well, yes, maybe. Ha! There you have it, you see. What do you make of that, hmm? I'm on a cruise ship! And someone's dead! That's like... stating the obvious. The ship's en route to England. And I'm in handcuffs at the scene of murder. Yeah, like, so... I'm not really sure you could call it deduction. Yeah, thank you. It's more plain observation. Thank you. Oh, this guy's gonna annoy me so much. Indeed, an observation, my dear boy, is the basis of all deduction. My method is founded upon the observation of trifles, you see. I announce my findings with a brassy certitude. And more often than not, I'm right. I don't think you introduced yourself. My apologies. How remiss of me. Hey, 104. Oh, good news. The Cosima we were swooning over. We finished that chapter and started the next one, and then he died. So, yeah. So much for that, I suppose. Not only is Kazuma dead and I'm sad, but now I have to deal with this, like, absolute buffoon. Sadly, the Decidui was very easy. Aw. I know, like, the one we did last time was kind of hard. Like, the Charizard was hard, and then I think it was the Greninja was, like, pretty hard. So I'm disappointed that the Decidui was easy. Hey, Coronis. How's it going? What's up, everybody? We finished chapter 1. We're starting chapter 2. I'm sad. How are y'all doing today? I'm none other than the greatest detective of the century, known to men and women the world over. Herlock Sholmes. You have a cool theme song at least. But God, you are insufferable so far. So it's really you, the actual Herlock Sholmes. The very same. The actual Herlock Sholmes. Do you know this man, Susato? Most famous detective in the world? Naruhodo-san, of course I do. There's nobody who hasn't heard of him. What planet have I been living on, then? We must ask him for what he's seduced. You'll have worked out the entire case already, I'm sure. Oh my god, no. He just tried to tell you the entire case, and apparently I'm a Russian revolutionary or something. I don't know. Why do I feel uneasy about this? So, like, is the running gag gonna be him being, like, a buffoon the entire time, and me just, like, rolling my eyes at him? Like, me as in the character, like, because Ryunosuke has been, like, rolling his eyes at him so far. Yeah, the test results? They didn't find anything wrong? Oh. Did you think it's ulcers? I mean, it's always tough in these spots where, like, they didn't find anything wrong, so your initial reaction is, oh, that's good. But because they didn't find anything wrong, like, you haven't solved the issue at all. So it's still, like, not the best, right? Yeah, exactly. So it's like a real, like, kind of shitty feeling middle ground where you're like, all right, I'd like to do something else, please, because, like, obviously something's not right. Can we please do, like, the next step and see? Well, I'm sorry you didn't get your answers. Yeah. You were hoping there was something easy that popped up on the test and was just like, oh, okay, here you go. We can fix this really easily. Did you get that scheduled? Or is that like something you have to do over the next few days? Or weeks or whatever? So I guess I'll say congrats for it not, nothing bad, excuse me, nothing bad popping up, but I do hope, like, you get an answer soon. Calling tomorrow and asking. I don't think that's a bad idea. I think that's perfectly reasonable. And to be like, hey, I'm worried about it being this. Can we just do this? Because it would, like, really ease my mind to rule that out. Or if it is that, we can get it fixed. Have you been feeling okay today, though? Like the last couple days? No, not really. Still a constant recurrence. Oh, I'm really sorry to hear that, Coronas. I really hope they listen to you tomorrow when you call them. I know sometimes it can be really frustrating because they don't find something initially and then just want to, like, mark it off as something that, like, they don't have to mess with. And sometimes you have to, like, push to get, like, them to look for other things. And I hope it's a very simple, I would like to do this, okay, sure, that's fine. Yeah. Yeah. And I really hope you have people that listen to you. The only suggestion I remotely have is, like, if that's something you want to do, be persistent about it. If you need to be. Hopefully you don't need to be, though. And I'm really sorry. That really sucks. Like, it's really shitty to... It's, like, a really, really awful situation to sit there and be like, there's something clearly bothering me. I want to get it fixed. And, like, it takes so long to figure out exactly what it is. Let's talk to this buffoon. I'm none other than the one and only Herlock Sholmes. I see. You're German? Herlock? Was it? No. I have no her. I mean, I have hair. Please call me Sholmes. You can read all about my exploits in this exciting London publication. Oh yes, Rant's magazine, full of wonderful short stories and interest articles. I never miss an issue. I have it sent from England especially. Here it is, The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes. You're the protagonist in a series of short stories, then. Yeah, no problem at all. Like, I really hope it gets better quickly. And whatever the solution is nice and easy and painless. Indeed I am. And you've read so many of your own stories, you started to think you really are a detective. Make no mistake, I'm not the poor deluded fellow you take me for. Your inference is backwards. Backward? My trusty biographer records my greatest detective achievements and chronicles them in the magazine. You have a biographer, do you? Doesn't everyone? Mine goes by the name of Dr. Wilson. Presently keeping shop in London. Wasn't that the name of the dude that died last chapter? Dr. Wilson? I must say, thanks to that publication, I've been fantastically busy of late. Oh god, you know what? Hold on. He's so extra that it's starting to grow on me. Like, the mannerisms and the big flashy thing going on here. Like, the pose striking, you know, it's working for me. Keep it up, buddy. I'm on board. Like, you might be an idiot, but I'm on board with you. It's bait, don't fall for it. He's luring me into a false sense of security. Said cosplay Herlock Sholmes in the future. I was talking to Amaria that might have been last night about like wanting to do some sort of con and cosplaying for it at some point soon, quote unquote soon. She was telling me about a couple conventions like in her area, and I'm like, oh, I still want to do that. Yeah, quote unquote soon. Soon, TM. I believe Herlock Sholmes is a common, like, name that gets to be used. Across, like, I think there's, like, multiple different, like, games that use the name Herlock Sholmes. You want to cosplay Zhongli? But you, yeah, so that's like, so the idea of like who I would want to cosplay in general is one that's like, you know, that would be the first thing to figure out, because there's some that's like really extra, and then there's some that's just like really basic, you know. For example, if someone wanted to cosplay Lloyd Forger, it would not be hard to like come up with the outfit for it, right? If someone wanted to cosplay Herlock Sholmes, as you see here, the outfit would be more difficult. If someone wanted to cosplay, say, oh, I'm drawing a blank. Just, you know, anyone with like a ridiculous outfit, like then it's super hard. Yeah, there's a Herlock Sholmes in Bravely Default. I think there's one in one of the Paper Marios, right? Like, I think Thousand Year Door has one. It's like a detective penguin named Herlock Sholmes. Maybe I misremember the name. I have no one to make it. Yeah, that's the other thing, is I'm not very good at making anything. But, you know, if I go for something basic, you know, maybe I can learn how to make stuff, right? And then you start small and, like, do more. You gotta start somewhere, right? Oh, I couldn't tell you. I would search it, but I'm afraid to, like, get spoiled for any Herlock Sholmes things in this one. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if someone Googled something to the effect of, when did the name Herlock Sholmes first show up? There would be, like, a definitive answer. By this very moment, I'm returning from Asia, having solved the mystery of a cursed royal crown. Really? I can't work out whether I should take this man seriously or not. You know, same. Deduction, you see, is to me a science. Logical reasoning in its purest form. A science? Really? The astute observer notices even the most subtle of reactions in a subject. A furtive glance, a twitch of a muscle, a slight inclination of the posture. Fingernails, arm sleeves, furrows in the skin. All these things are data. Yo, if it turns out that he said something ridiculous on purpose to see what my reaction, like how I react to something that's like absurd, so that he can like get me with it later, then fine, you got me. French author LeBlanc in the early 1900s. Penned stories. Name was changed to Herlock Sholmes. Interesting. The ultimate conclusion is, without fail, the truth. As I demonstrated only a few short moments ago. How do you look me in the eye and claim that? Okay, no. So you see, I've returned both for observation and for deduction. That's what makes me the one and only Herlock Sholmes. Before we started talking, you were examining Cosimo's desk, weren't you? Cosimo? Ah, yes, the victim. Did you notice anything useful? Anything at all? Thank you, 104. Like, I think that's pretty interesting. So it's been around since, like, the 1900s. Like, the early 1900s. Observe for a moment the desktop of the victim. We see that the victim was engaged in penning some text. London diary. Cosimo was keeping notes of the trip. Ah, but I don't think you should read his private writings. It could upset people. Tragic. And something you ought to perhaps elucidate before the act of reading. You mean you've read it already? It is my... I love this song. It's my business to know what other people do not. Believe it or not, I know a smattering of Japanese. I see. Well, you're about to know what a Sasato takedown is. Sasato? Aren't you gonna throw the detective with one of your trademark takedowns? I'm sorry, Naruhodo. What on earth do you mean? Life is so unfair. Anyway, to return to the matter at hand, namely, this diary belonging to the victim. It would appear the final sentence is incomplete, as if the author were cut short. Tell me, what is the nature of the writing? Pray be precise to details. Oh, but I thought you knew Japanese. A smattering, dear boy, a smattering. Sayonara, bonsai, mikado. Nado. Oh my god, I love that pose. Like, gosh, he's so... How many people in here are going to understand the Final Fantasy XIV reference? He's so Hildebrand. Oh my god, he's Hildebrand. That's exactly what he is. Well, this diary is littered with complicated-looking characters, of which I can read precisely none. So what was all that showing off about before? If you'd be so kind as to show me, I would be happy to read it to you, Mr. Sholmes. Much obliged, my dear madam. I don't know why it's happening, but I went from, like, very annoyed by this guy to, like, totally on board with him in the span of, like, 10 minutes. The final entry here in Kazuma-sama's diary consists of just 2 short sentences. 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. A whistling sound? These are very deep waters. Pray go on. The second sentence reads, 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. Yeah, I know, and it happened so quickly. It's like such a fine line between, you know, this person's a moron, I'm annoyed by having to read this, and oh my god, this person's a moron, I love them. And I don't know what it was that caused the shift over, but I'm there now. A speckled band? What on earth does that mean? I have no idea. I never heard that expression before. The ventilator grill, you say? The man was presumably referring... This game changed the name to Herlock Sholmes just to avoid copyright and trademark issues. The Doyle estate got into legal battle with Netflix. Oh, yeah, I remember hearing about that. Like, there was like Enola Holmes, like a 1 or 2 movies or seasons or something. I haven't seen it yet, but like, they got mad because they didn't depict Sherlock in like an uber positive light or anything. I remember reading something about that. I haven't actually like watch the show, though. To the lattice there on the wall, which connects to the adjoining cabin. The adjoining cabin. Cosmo's diary has been entered into the court record. In Japan, it's still Sherlock Holmes? Oh, interesting. Have you managed to deduce anything about this particular case yet? Have you managed to deduce anything? My dear fellow. Who do you suppose discovered the culprit in his most cunning hiding place? That's right. It was none other than the great detective before you now, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. Oh, it was just was that it? It was just emotion? Gosh. Wow, how dare you have emotion? Gosh, emotions are for the weak, apparently. We will now sue you. Thank you. Ugh. Yo, let me just throw it out there. If you think your like cool favorite character showing emotions like makes them less cool, then you need to be better. With canon that eventually indeed he did begin. Yeah, like, ugh. In other words, nothing. I'm least now because of him. When I became anxious about Kazuma this morning, I summoned all the crew members to force the cabin door open. And I concealed myself among their number, gaining entry to the scene of the crime. Luckily for everyone, the great detective, Sherlock Holmes, was on board. They might have settled out of court. Was a bit emotional as well, though not like overly. Hold on one second. Let's see. Let's all learn. Let me learn something else today. Why did over quote-unquote warmer? Alleged that the film Enola Holmes infringed copyright by depicting a warmer and more emotional version of Sherlock Holmes. The film's producers argued that Conan Doyle created significantly new character traits for Holmes and Watson in the 10 stories still under copyright. The state argued that Holmes was previously depicted by Conan Doyle as aloof and unemotional, but when the author lost his son during the First World War, his brother 4 months later, it was no longer enough that the Holmes character was the most brilliant, rational, analytical mind. He needed to be human. The character needed to develop human connection and empathy. He became capable of friendship. He could express emotion. He began to... Okay. I mean, I just learned a lot of things. That's so weird. That's like one of the weirdest lawsuits I've heard about in terms of like, you know, copyright stuff. Hey, Penguin! Yes! Sleuthers! Spam your sleuthers if you've got them. Penguin, my bracket is busted. I had Arizona in the finals. Oh my god. Now, I hadn't watched any basketball all year. But, you know, so I kind of picked at random. But oof! Oof! That one's not good. 2 facts were apparent to me. Oh, I love it, 1 of 4. 2 facts, you say. 2 facts. Mr. Sholmes, I'm going to finish the conversing with him, and then we'll wrap it up for the day and do more investigations next time. What two facts were apparent to you when you came into this cabin this morning? Ah, yes, but first, let's be precise. The two facts in question were immediately apparent to me. I understand, but what were they? Allow me to elucidate. Oh my gosh, Penguin, that game was crazy. That game was crazy. Like, I've watched the replay half a dozen times, just being like, what are you doing? They've been eliminated round 1 3 times for the national championship once. You know what? I think they'll take that. Yeah, Sleuthers is an invention from Boppers, which is a play on Poggers with Birds of Paradise. And I believe there are other ones. There were a lot of them. It wasn't just Sleuthers. There was one for Oko. It was like Pika Oko. Yeah, there's some good emote lore. Gosh, I miss the days of like Gabby streaming all the time and like the whole community like being silly. Her community was great. I haven't seen her stream in forever. Obviously, like she has life things going on now. She was always very nice. She helped me out a lot, like behind the scenes for stream stuff too. Like anytime I asked questions. I like the big brain. They're either the best or the worst with no in between. Number 1, the cabin was locked from within, rendering escape of the culprit out of the question. Number 2, victim was Russian and killed following a dispute with the acquaintance. Hold on, Mr. Sherms, why did you think the victim was Russian? The dying message left by the victim on the floor. That is the Russian word for wardrobe. Oh! No, Kazuma, his dying thoughts was worrying about them not finding me because they didn't expect anyone to be in there and me suffocating. He was trying to make sure they found me. Oh, I'm so sad again. Oh yeah, Daubers! I forgot about Daubers. Do you really think Kazuma-sama could have left a dying message in Russian? In the final moment, many find their native tongue filling their head. For this young man, Russian. Kazuma was Russian, was he? Initially, I considered, Garderob may be the name of the killer. Robert Guard. But in the interest of thoroughness, I decided it would be wrong not to look inside the wardrobe there at least. Where you found Mr. Naruhodo sleeping soundly. Quite so. I found you, the renowned Russian revolutionary killer. Why is that I'm Russian too? I observed that you were wearing the same attire as the victim. In other words, you were acquainted. You know... Alright, I'm gonna hate to say this. He's wrong. But it makes sense. The victim wrote the dying, like, word in Russian, so he's probably Russian. He found me, we're wearing the same attire, so I'm probably Russian too now. Oh my god, I kinda love it. I don't even kinda, I do love it. Like, it's so easy to make him just say really silly things and just be like a buffoon. But no, he has like this logical progression that takes him from point A to point B. It's just incorrect assumptions along the way. But they're like reasonable assumptions. Yeah, so the victim had their finger in ink. And their finger was like at the end of one of the letters, so it looks like he was writing it. Whether or not he did, we don't know. Yes, I really did. I really did. I'm totally on board. And my memory serves, that outfit is the traditional dress of the Russian people. A school uniform for the traditional dress of the Russian people? I had no idea. And I had no idea a detective could get something so wrong. I took a photograph of the victim of the message, that I might analyze it for possible hidden detail. Yeah, so this is how they found him, so that's why they thought he was the one that wrote it. And it looks like he was. Whether or not he was, we don't know. Yeah. The problem is no one knew that we were here. This was taken immediately after the young man was discovered, before the body was removed. So it would be weird if they were trying to frame us. But if he didn't write this, then someone was trying to frame us. I just don't know who it would be. It's the first time I've actually seen him like this. Aww. Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes. Look at this photograph. Can I ask you something, Mr. Sholmes? What, pray? You mentioned Russia before as well, didn't you? You know, when you said I was a fearsome revolutionary fleeing from Russia... The train of reasoning that led me to the truth. Explain that train of reasoning. Certainly, if it interests you. I'm not Russian, and I don't speak Russian. Can you talk about your deduction before? The things you concluded about me? The troubling predicament. There's the other details. The merciless Russian revolutionary. Assassin 16 part. Main headline reads, Revolutionary flees Russia via Shanghai. Shanghai? And then your biographer was the dude that died in the first scene? In the first chapter? Well, things might be tied together. This vessel made a port call at Shanghai yesterday. The young Russian was murdered. Sounds like Mr. Sholmes has concluded he was Russian because of what caused him a rote on the floor. Simple act of reasoning to realize that the culprit of this crime was the same merciless revolutionary. One who would kill the very man who helped him to escape after his true identity was discovered. Violin Bolshevik. No, how could it be me? I don't look anything like this man. Look at his face. You are a fearsome revolutionary after all. Therefore, you've no doubt learned to revolutionize. Alright, no, he's just a moron. Are you smart or are you dumb? I don't know. I'm so confused. I'm so intrigued. You hate him? Look at this pose. Please. And I might add, your name does not appear on the ship's passenger list. Need I say more? He shows me smart. It's because I'm a stowaway. What about the other details? 16 victims, blowing up the Crystal Tower. The journalist clearly interviewed the man and printed all his particulars in the article. The deeds the man has perpetrated thus far and those he is plotting. Everything about this revolutionary Bolshevik was included. There can be no mistake. Do revolutionaries usually agree to interview with newspaper reporters? What about the part where you said I was just returning from Afghanistan? You hate him? For his entire demeanor and dumbassery? But, like, you just don't. You're just like, no, Quite clearly stated here in the article. Bolshevik has recently returned after a period of subversive activities in a war-torn region of Afghanistan. Where even is it anyway? This Afghanistan place. Here, take the paper for yourself. It's a little memento of this great deduction. Thank you. I've absorbed all that is of interest to me within its pages. Court record. You may find the article on the back page of interest as well. On the back? Cast your eye over it sometime if the interest takes you, though you may need someone to interpret. It's all written in Russian. I couldn't hope to read it. But I suppose it wouldn't hurt just to glance at the article. Maybe there might be a picture or two. Yeah, I like the movie. Or, not the movie. I like the music as well. Yeah. I believe I've given you enough to consider for the time being. Ah, do you have somewhere to go? As it happens, the victim's writings in his diary have piqued my interest. The matter warrants further investigation. And if I'm still too long to see sickness takes hold... I suppose. You think of investigating the cabin next door, which the ventilator connects to. Great detectives are a curious breed. Our minds rebel at stagnation. We crave mental exaltation. So yes. I intend to investigate, hence the truth will become clear soon enough. No, that would be somewhat complicated. Why? Simple glance at your wrist should reveal the answer. After all, you're the prime suspect in this matter. No point trying to turn it into a question. You're the one who decided I was the culprit in the first place. Whatever do you mean? I have no recollection of naming you as the culprit at any point. You must be joking. You just said it only a moment ago. Dear me, you were clearly misguided. I would have no cause to say such a thing. Well, actually, Mr. Sholmes, I did hear you say that too. You're quite sure? Well, that's very strange. I wouldn't have said you had the face of a criminal, you know. Not really. Anyway, that was then and this is now. What I mean, sir, is this. If you're the culprit, then you must play the part more convincingly. Roll over and accept your fate. Okay, bye. Yeah, that was very weird, wasn't it? That was really weird at the end. What are you just standing there for? We must go investigate the cabin next door as well. What about these? There's no way I can. Hiya! After Kazuma-sama spent his dying moment struggling to leave us a clue, you willing to give up? You're just gonna roll over and accept your fate? Ugh. I think we still have some investigation to finish off in here first, don't we? Let's carry on examining what we can in this cabin while we wait for a chance to slip next door. Okay. Good idea. Situation doesn't look good. But there are still things I can do to help myself. And I owe it to Kazuma to do everything I can to find a way out. Bring the real culprit to justice. This is a great time to save. Boom. We finished the case. It was great. We started the next one. It was less great, but now it's great again. So, game good. Next stream will probably be Persona on Saturday, and then we'll get back to this on Sunday. We're gonna keep bouncing back and forth between the two of them. No stream tomorrow. No streamerino tomorrow, Reno. I want to thank you all for hanging out. I hope you had a great time. I know I did. Lots of streams on Twitch. I know you have lots of options. The fact that you spent your evening with me, it means a lot. Really appreciate it. I'm going to find someone to send you to. Share the love. We got rated early today by Rosalina. Thank you again, Rosalina. And I'll send you over to... I'll send you over to Ilion. Haven't headed to Ilion in a bit. I'm not sure what they're playing, but we'll check it out. No, I basically said hi and then like went to sleep. So I didn't see any, or not to sleep, but then like logged off of Twitch. Like, I wouldn't, like, heat up my steak and then, like, watch some stuff on YouTube and all that. Soul Hackers is on my wish list. It is a game where, if it goes on sale for a bunch, and, like, the timing is right, I'm gonna grab it and play it. I plan to play it at some point. Because I'm certainly on board with it. Like, y'all know me, I love those types of games. So, I definitely don't want to get spoiled or nothing. I plan to play it at some point. Same with, like, Octopath. That's on my list now. We got a lot of JRPGs. I think I might go on like a big JRPG kick. And, you know, over the summer, just play a bunch of them. And kind of bounce between multiple ones. Like we're doing with these two. But instead of being like two totally different games, kind of like have them both be JRPGs or something. But we'll see. But yeah, Soul Hackers, I've heard is like... I think y'all in chat that have played it liked it. Thought it was pretty good, so it's on my wish list. For those of you watching the March Madness tournament tomorrow, enjoy. Hope you have a good time. Like B+, A-, yeah, like pretty good. A nice, like, really good experience, solid game. I'm really looking forward to that. Have a great night, everyone.